Memphis and W253DF Memphis with Dave Wolo weekday mornings from 10 to 11. It's time to get up and get your day started. Morant. It's Sports 56 Mornings with Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Now, here are your hosts, Greg and Eli.
The long-awaited, much-anticipated Grizzlies 24-25 season begins tonight in Salt Lake City against the Utah Jazz. The NBA season is underway after a couple of games last night as we welcome you into Sports 56 Mornings on this Wednesday, October 23rd, 2024. Happy Hump Day to you, Greg Gaston, Eli Savoy, and Elijah Seegers, broadcasting from the Family Leisure Studios. Family Leisure, it's where family and fun come together. The world's biggest spa sale continues at Family Leisure, 2120 Whitten Road, just north of I-40. Currently 58 degrees as you get your Wednesday morning started. It's going to warm up pretty nicely to about 87, 88 degrees, sunshine, so it's going to feel warm out there. And then tonight, clear skies with an overnight low into your Wednesday morning at 58 degrees. Coming up on the program today, as I mentioned, Grizzlies opening night tonight against the Utah Jazz. We'll talk plenty of NBA. We'll talk some Memphis Tigers basketball as well, as the drama, at least for now, seems to have been resolved, if you will, with the Tyreek Smith situation. We got Memphis football news to get into as well. And we got breaking news from the National Football League that we'll talk about. Also, a legend passes away just a couple of days before the World Series gets underway. Jerry Palm will join us at 8:25 to talk all things college football, maybe sneak in a little college basketball talk as well. At 9:05, DeMichael Cole will join us from Salt Lake City for the Grizzlies opener. And then at 9:25 on Memphis basketball, as he's with us now each and every week, Parth Upadhyay from the Daily Memphian. We got some college football action from last night as well, as it's another busy week with games Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. We will take your calls and texts on the Sissy's Log Cabin listener lines at 901-360-8255. There's the scene. It's all been set for you for this Wednesday edition of Sports 56 Mornings. How are you?
I am fabulous.
Did you stay up late to watch the Bronny and Braun debut?
I actually avoided it.
I did too. I knew it was
did
going
not want to see it.
I knew it was going to happen. Went to bed. I didn't know it would be the second quarter. I thought it would be the fourth. But decided to go to bed anyway. And we'll talk about the NBA here in just a second. But I go to bed. And then, of course, in the morning, as we both do, we put the finishing touches on our show preps. And lo and behold, the overnight news of Fernando Valenzuela's passing. And then just in the last hour or less, the news of DeAndre Hopkins. Not yet finalized, but Adam Schefter reports that it's going to happen. DeAndre Hopkins, the veteran Titans receiver, long time with the Cardinals, is headed to Kansas City for what is reported a conditional fourth-round pick, as the Chiefs' wide receiver core has been depleted with injuries. So DeAndre Hopkins appears to be headed to Kansas City Mo.
Yeah, I guess they either stayed up late into the night or got up really early in the morning to get this deal done. They did not want to wait.
Got a grand slam breakfast over at Denny's and then started to get to work.
GM's like the phone ring in the middle of the night at like 4 a.m. Like, gosh, who's calling me? Oh, hey, it's the Titans. Let's see what they want. Oh, you guys what? Huh? Okay, yeah, sure, we'll do that. But yeah, the Chiefs, I mean, they need wide receiver help because they are very, very thin with what is remaining in their wide receiver room. And DeAndre Hopkins is still a good one and will certainly help them out. You know, there's the Cooper Kupp rumors out there that he could certainly be on the move from the Rams. We saw the offseason of wide receivers getting paid. Now we're seeing the trades of wide receivers in season as teams lose wide receivers and try and replace them. And that's a nice pickup for Kansas City because he is he could still be really good. And boy, what a upgrade if you're DeAndre Hopkins, going from Will Levis throwing you the football to Patrick Mahomes throwing you the football.
Or Mason Rudolph. See, there's a big difference between Will Levis and Mason Rudolph. No, in all seriousness, he did not ask for a trade. He wasn't complaining. He wasn't belly aching. He's toward the end of his career. And it just so happens, you're right, he ends up with the only undefeated team remaining in the National Football League. Now, Patrick Mahomes, somehow, some way, because he is one of the greatest to ever play the game, is figuring out ways to lead Kansas City to scoring drives despite his struggles. He has 6 touchdown passes and 8 interceptions. That is unlike anything you associate Patrick Mahomes with. In his last, I think, 3 games, 3 interceptions, no touchdown passes? What? Again, they still win because he's so intelligent. When he has to make the play, get the first down, keep a drive going, he does it. But if he has his weapons, he's going to be throwing touchdown passes. And now you added DeAndre Hopkins. Now, Hopkins has had injury issues, but this year he's been relatively healthy. You mentioned Cooper Kupp. Kupp has been injured for a good part of the season. But if he's healthy, he's going to help out a team wherever he ends up landing. But certainly for Kansas City, to get a veteran wide receiver like DeAndre Hopkins, that is a big pickup. Again, it's not official yet, but it will be sooner than later as they dot the I's, cross the T's, and make this deal. Again, the Titans just waving the white flag in Brian Callahan's first year. While we're on the NFL real quick, just some other news. We talked about the barrage of injuries to the wide receivers. News is as bad as we thought it would be for Chris Godwin, likely out for the year. Mike Evans will be out for several weeks. I think Tampa will have a bye after a couple of games that he'll miss, and then after the bye, he's expected to hopefully be back for Tampa's sake, as Tampa's still very much in the hunt to make it to the postseason. So there you go. The breaking news from this morning: DeAndre Hopkins is apparently headed to Kansas City. We had the overnight news, the sad news of the passing of Fernando Valenzuela, and unless you're 30 years old or younger, you don't know what I'm talking about here, but for most of our listening audience, I assume they know exactly who Fernando Valenzuela is. Fernando Mania swept the nation. I mean, it literally did when he came into the bigs in 1981 with the Dodgers, which, again, ironically, is the last time that the Dodgers and Yankees played in a World Series. They've played many, many times in the World Series, going back to the Dodgers days in Brooklyn. But they were in Los Angeles. Yankees, of course, in New York. They played in 81. Fernando Valenzuela was the Cy Young Award winner in the National League, the Rookie of the Year, and the Dodgers won the World Series. He has been a broadcaster for years since his retirement on the Spanish network that does the Dodgers games. Had to bail out before the playoffs started this year because of health concerns. But nobody knew exactly what was going on. And then, lo and behold, you get the news that he died. 2 days before the start of the World Series featuring his beloved Dodgers and the Yankees. You remember Fernando Mania. It was crazy.
Yeah, it was. I mean, I was young, but it was something. I mean, he was just fun. Like, it was just. I mean, I just remember like the whole wind up with the look up to the sky, everything, and then he was just so dominant to start that year. It was like insane how good he was and everything else, and he didn't necessarily look like the sculptured athletes we see today.
No.
Some of these pictures and all that stuff. I mean, it was just, it was crazy. I remember just everything about it was like, wow, this dude is like it just taking over the world, and like nobody can hit him. And this, like the screwball, like that everybody wanted to throw a screwball. Like it became like, okay, how do I throw a screwball? What do I need to do to throw a screwball? Because apparently nobody in the world can hit a screwball, so we need to all figure out how to throw a screwball. I mean, it was crazy.
He was Bartolo Colon before Bartolo Colon. I mean, he was, like you said, not the most svelte athlete, yet in Los Angeles, which is got a large Spanish population, it just took off. And then it started to take off around the nation. There have been pitchers like that through the years. You remember the Bird, Mark Fidderich with Detroit, and he'd pet the mound and pat it down and all that stuff. He was loopy, he was strange, he was different. And Fernando, not in that sense, but he was different. And he was dominant. But this will prove my point here. Elijah Seegers, you are how old?
I'm 22.
You are 22 years of age. So you were born in 2002.
That's correct.
Oh, my God. This guy was pitching in 1981. I'm going to lay some money that you have never heard of Fernando Valenzuela.
I
Be honest,
actually
be
have.
honest.
My dad is a Dodgers fan, so I got the whole
You got
spiel.
That deserves a golf clap right there. Yeah. So ask your dad about Fernando Mania and about what it was like. So anyway, Valenzuela passes away. Again, very sad right before, again, his Dodgers are playing in the World Series beginning on Friday.
To tell you how big of a different era it was that he was pitching it, 96 complete games in his first 7 seasons.
Were there 96 complete games in Major League Baseball this year? Not even close, right?
I can't imagine.
Can you look? I don't know if you can find that. See if you can find out how many complete games were pitched this year in baseball. No hitters weren't even like perfect. Weren't even complete
20.
games. He had 10 guys pitch.
He had 20 complete games in 1986.
And his arm didn't fall off. Unbelievable. Back then, when they didn't have the modern technology that they have today or the training that they had today, his training was ding-dongs and enchiladas. Come on, man.
So there were only 28 complete games this year.
It's crazy. It's crazy, man. Oh, I hate it. I saw it firsthand with my Phillies. Let's bring in the 6th inning guy. Boing. Bring in the 7th inning guy. Walk 2, give up a home run. Bring in the 8th inning guy. Same deal. Anyway, so that's certainly some sad news. And we also got news that Jack Flaherty is going to get the ball on Friday for the Dodgers in Game 1. How about that? Got Tommy Edman winning the National League Championship Series MVP. You got Flaherty pitching Game 1. It's the Cardinals West in the World Series.
Yeah, I thought I was thinking that Yamamoto might be the guy, but Flaherty certainly. They went out and got him at the deadline just for this. So I guess put him out there Game 1 and take your shot.
Last night, as most people know, the NBA season got underway. We'll talk about those 2 games here in just a moment. But the Grizzlies tonight in Utah, the first status report, or injury report, if you will, came out. Only 5 Grizzlies on the list. How about that? Right before the start of the season, without having played 1 second of basketball, only 5. Can you sense or hear in my voice a little bit of the sarcasm? No Jaren Jackson Jr., no Vince Williams, no Gigi Jackson, no Luke Kennard. Cam Spencer's hurt, the rookie. So these guys are all out. Kennard, by the way, the word is, I think Michael Cole had this yesterday, and he'll be joining us from Salt Lake City later in the show, that he will be out at least a week. The hits just keep on coming. But Ja and Dez and Smart and the rookie Edie will all be in the lineup. Hopefully they'll make it through the game, fingers crossed, and they can get a dub on the road against the Utah Jazz to open up their campaign tonight.
Yeah, it's it'll be fun to have the season here once again. I guess that news on Luke Kennard, if it is only the first week, that's I guess somewhat good news if you can get him back.
When the hell did he get hurt? I remember him signing a contract, and then all of a sudden he was out.
He got hurt in which game was it? It was one of the preseason games where he played like 5 minutes, but when Taylor Jenkins gave the update, whatever it was, last week or so, I was worried that he was going to be out for quite some time. So if it is only the first week of the season, that will be, I think, again, good news as far as that is concerned. So again, now we'll see tonight how that wing rotation plays out to start the year. Obviously, when you don't have Vince Williams, you don't have G.G. Jackson, you don't have Luke Kennard, that's three of the guys who were, certainly with Vince and Luke Kennard, were definitely going to be part of the rotation, and G.G. probably could have been a part of that rotation as well. And as they went down, he would have been the next guy up. So now, who is that guy? Is it Jalen Wells first off the bench? Is it Jake LaRavia? Is it John Conchar? Kind of how do they handle that wing rotation with being very now shorthanded at the wing position?
What do you think will happen?
I'm going to guess, just by the way he played in the preseason, that there's a good chance that Jalen Wells, because of the shooting ability, gets that kind of first crack at it. And I think they certainly like John Conchar and what he brings, and his ability to rebound and everything else, and just make winning plays and not really going to kill you. But he's not the shooter. And I think with no Luke Kennard out there, I think they'll be looking more for the shooting portion of it coming off the bench. And I think Wells, at this point, has just proven, again, it's only preseason, but he just was the better shooter of that group over LaRavia and Conchar. So I'm going to guess that Wells kind of gets that shot first and see how he does.
Yeah, I tend to agree with you because you know what you're going to get with Conchar. He's consistent, so they could always rely on him. LaRavia, when they drafted him, was supposed to be the shooter. He was supposed to be a big-time shooter. He has developed some other skills where we saw in the summer. He rebounds the basketball. He's pretty aggressive, not a bad passer at all. But his shooting is not what everybody thought it would be. Maybe it's still there, but it has to be unleashed. But Wells is right now on a heater, albeit preseason. But maybe the kid does get his crack early, and if so, then you kind of know that he's ready to step up in real games, and then you have that option too when those other guys come back. So, yeah, I think that's what we'll see. Of course, we're very curious to see what Edey does. Playing in a game against Utah, didn't he go up against Kessler in the preseason? I'm not mistaken? Or Summer League. Was it Summer League?
Summer League, they played each other.
Yes, that's what it was.
First game, I believe, of Summer League that they I think that they went head-to-head.
Yeah, and people were doing somersaults over the way Edey played against Kessler. So that will be one of the matchups to look at tonight. And then, of course, Ja Morant, the explosiveness. We've seen it in limited time that he's played in the preseason, certainly in the Miami game last Friday where he played 25 minutes. All eyes will be on that. So I'm excited. I know everybody is excited about getting this season underway. It was a long 23-24 campaign, and hopefully this year they'll reap the benefits of maybe getting some fortunes from the basketball gods to go along with the new offense and a new addition in Edey, and really Smart, basically. He's basically a new addition, too, because we didn't see much of him last year. So last night, they unfurled the banner for the champion Boston Celtics, and they handed out the championship rings, and then the Celtics went out and blasted the Knicks 132 to 109. The Celtics hit 29 of 61 threes, nearly setting the record. They tied the record. They were trying to break the record, but missed their last 13 threes. But think about it. They missed their last 13 and still shot 47.5% from beyond the arc. Absolutely crazy. They left no doubt early in this game that the Knicks had no shot.
Yeah, that's as good a shooting performance for a team as you could ever see. I mean, that first half, they make 17 threes, and it was everybody. Obviously Tatum was on fire, but every starter was just knocking them down. The ball movement, they just kept getting wide open looks, basically whenever they wanted them. The starters end up shooting 26 for 41 from three-point range, 63%. The Knicks shot 55% from the field, 36% from three-point range, and were never in the game. They just never had a chance. It was an offensive masterpiece. Which the Celtics, I mean, that's what they do. They're going to shoot a ton of threes, and because they're all good shooters, they're going to make a bunch of threes. Like that's what they do. Yeah, that was. I mean, Tatum. They talked a lot about Tatum and Brown, kind of the chip on their shoulders. Tatum he was on the Olympic team, but didn't get to play much. Brown didn't even get to be on the Olympic team. And if that's the result of that chip on the shoulder, look out teams this year, because they're going to be tough to beat.
37 points for Jason Tatum. You mentioned from 3, he was great. 8 of 11. They were all great. Again, 132, 109. Karl Anthony Towns making his, for the Knicks, 12 points, 7 rebounds.
Yeah, you could see with them, I think there's going to be a kind of a feeling out process of where and kind of how he gets his shots, how he gets his opportunities.
Right.
Mikal Bridges added in there as well, and he struggled shooting the basketball, did make a couple of threes later on. But it's going to be a little bit of a work in progress to try and figure out how those two fit in and where and their opportunities are going to come, and kind of that. Jalen Brunson is clearly the guy, but then kind of how do people fall in place behind that is going to be still to be determined, I think, for the Knicks.
Record 18th banner raised to the rafters at the Garden for the Boston Celtics. 18 NBA titles. All right, when we come back, we'll talk about the history that was made last night in Los Angeles. The Lakers and the Timberwolves. Also, several contract extensions were made known to the public yesterday. We'll talk about that on the program. Love to hear from you on the Grizzlies, your expectations. You can just text in what you think the record will be. Where do you think they'll finish in the Western Conference? What are the prospects for the Memphis Grizzlies? Then we'll dive into football. We got a lot of football to get into. Again, Jerry Palm at 8:25, DeMichael Cole on the Grizzlies at 9:05. And we'll talk Memphis Tigers basketball with Parth Upadhyay. That'll be coming up at 9:25. The new Chevy truck season sale is going on right now in Olive Branch at All-Star Chevrolet, and it is spot on. Financing as low as 0%. That's pretty good. It's now available on all the new 24 Silverados, and no payment until next year, until 2025. Yes, your Silverado can be payment-free through Christmas and New Year's because your good credit deserves it. Olive Branch is where all the new Chevy Silverados are, and all those brand-new Tahoes. Also, incentives at All-Star on the new Equinox can get your price in the low 30s, even the 20s. If you're in law enforcement, first responder, healthcare worker, military, you're a teacher, a recent graduate, you get a $500 bonus when you purchase a vehicle from All-Star Chevrolet in Olive Branch. Come check out the huge All-Star pre-owned section. Just about everything. Silverados, Jeeps, Nissans, Toyotas, Fords, all types of SUVs. It's right there for you at All-Star Chevrolet in Olive Branch. And if you got any vehicle you want to sell, bring it to All-Star Chevy today. Get the most money back for it. So together, let's drive. Don't miss the final Chevy truck season sale going on now in Olive Branch at All-Star Chevrolet. You can also see all these terrific vehicles online at allstarautogroup.com. We are just underway on a Wednesday. This is Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Be sure to follow us at Sports 56 WHBQ on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube to watch live video of our shows. Stay up to date with station events and have chances to win prizes. Don't miss out on anything that's going on. Follow us at Sports 56 WHBQ.
They're taking care of business in Memphis right on the river with Grind City Brewing and all of their great products. Look, this was a dream come true for a father and son duo. And if you have not been to that brewery right on the river, just to the north of downtown, you're really missing something special. And now you can't miss their product. Wherever you go, you see a brand new label. It's clean, it's beautiful, it's distinctive. You'll know Grind City Brewing, and of course you know their products like Poppy's Pills, that great Pilsner, or Tiger Tail, that very creative craft malt liquor. There's the new Thaddeus Amber Lager. That is absolutely a great light beer. There's the India Pale called Godhopper. It's outstanding. And then there's the Belga, the Belgian-style wheat ale. They keep bringing hits at Grind City Brewing.
See website for details. This happen is not a lender and does not make credit decisions. Must be 18 years old. Not available in all states.
Honey, the credit card bill came in maxed out.
Great. Maxed out cards, rent's due, bills are piling up. We just need some extra cash to help us get by for a few weeks.
You should do what my brother did. He went to billshappen.com and got $3,000 the next day.
With our bad credit, I don't think so.
Billshappen.com is different. They are one of the largest personal loan networks. They can help people with all credit types get up to $5,000.
I'm sure there's a lot of paperwork.
Nope, my brother said it was easy. He did it right from his phone.
If you have a regular source of income, you can be approved for a loan for up to $5,000 in minutes, and your cash can hit your bank account the next day. Bills Happen's lenders have millions of dollars to lend, regardless of your credit history.
Great news. I went to billshappen.com, and we will have our money as soon as tomorrow.
Wow, that is fast.
If you need extra cash, go to billshappen.com. That's billshappen.com. Billshappen.com.
Choosing the right candidates for any office can be difficult.
My office has lots of drama.
I share my office. But no matter what kind of office you have, if you're hiring, you need ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter's powerful matching technology finds the most qualified candidates for your roles fast. So, for any kind of office,
I'm really going places in my office.
count on ZipRecruiter to find the right candidates for it. Try ZipRecruiter for free today at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
I'm telling you right now, Mid-South, if you're looking for a new ride, give Bobby J a call today at Gossett Kia on the Pike. He's the man with the plan. 41 MPG, Bobby's got it in new 2024 Kia Forte LXS. $233.86 a month, $34.99 to its signing. 2025 Kia Sportage, $269 a month, $34.99 to its signing. And get holiday ready in 2024 Kia. Tell your ride S. $408.62 a month, $39.99 to its signing, all 24-month lease. Plus, you always get peace of mind with Kia's 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. Call Bobby J. He's ready to put you in your new Kia today. That's Gossett Kia, 1900 Covington Pike, or online, KiaCovingtonPike.com.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
Monthly $650 acquisition fee, 20 cents excess mileage, Forte RE834 938, MSRP 22615, Telluride RG56 3000, MSRP 40805, Sportage S73 40278, MSRP 29135, includes all rebates and incentives. Must finance through Hyundai, excludes tax title and license. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 10/31/2024 with approved credit. Dealer stock only.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good morning. I'm looking at an accident getting some attention right now. They're trying to move the damaged vehicles on Bill Morris Parkway inbound at Ridgeway. That's why it's been slow between Kirby and Ridgeway. They're coming inbound on 385 Bill Morris Parkway, causing a bit of a delay as that traffic builds now over here on 40 westbound from Germantown Parkway all the way to Sycamore View Road. Weimer's Jewelry, 7525 Highway 64 is your full-service, family-owned jewelry store here in Memphis. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Back to Sports 56 morning.
Morning.
On Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Here once again, Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
The late game last night on TNT, part of the doubleheader opening night, was the Lakers-Timberwolves. Lakers win 110-103 as Anthony Davis goes off. 36 points, 16 rebounds, 4 assists, 3 blocks, but all eyes were focused on history as LeBron James and his son, Bronny James, father-son, played on the court. First time that's ever happened in NBA history. They played together for just 3 minutes in the second quarter. Bronny went 0 for 2, missed a 3, got a rebound, and had a shot blocked by Rudy Gobert. He was a -5 out there on the court when he was there. LeBron had 16 points. But, again, it's going to be a storyline throughout the season. You get it out of the way, at least the history that was made. And we all have given our opinions about the situation. Certainly nepotism, certainly the control of LeBron James with that organization. But I don't think it's the end of the world. It's not the worst thing that could happen because the kid's playing. At least he played a few minutes in this game. But it is what it is.
Yeah, and Anthony Davis is what he is. He's still pretty darn good, and he was a monster last night.
That's why I don't think you can count out the Lakers, not an NBA title, but the Lakers getting into the playoffs if those guys stay healthy and they continue to get contributions from younger guys like Austin Reeves and now a Dalton Connect.
Yeah. I mean, they've been a play-in team the last 2 years. I think that's probably where they are. Maybe they sneak into the number 6 spot, something like that. I don't think they're a top 4 or 5 team in the Western Conference, but yeah, I mean, I think they are what they've shown they've been the last couple of years.
So they honored the late great Jerry West, obviously, with the Lakers opener last night. And again, I didn't watch the game, but I did see the video of the jerseys on the seats before the game. I'm not sure what they said actually during the game, the former legend and then the front office guy. The Clippers, who will open up the new Intuit Dome, are also going to honor Jerry West with a JW Court decal and a memorial seat where he sat during Clippers games behind the basket near the team's home bench. The memorial seat, which will have West's signature accompanied by the logo and decal, will be showcased throughout the whole season. So I asked the question, and I did this on Twitter X maybe 2 weeks ago. The Clippers are honoring him. The Lakers certainly are honoring him. Are the Grizzlies not going to do anything for Jerry West?
I have no idea what the plans are. If there are any plans to, I don't know. I have not. I don't know.
I mean, I've heard stories about him and this and that, and there have been some people after I tweeted that out that said, he was a jerk. I mean, come on. Jerry West was part of your organization. Michael Heisley somehow was able to get Jerry West to come to Memphis. I mean, there's some shocking stories since I've been in Memphis. One was obviously the Grizzlies coming here before the advent of social media, where it shocked everybody because nobody knew it was going to happen. We had Tyson Lewis. Of course, I broke that story, so I knew what was happening. We had Jerry West. We had Hubie Brown. What? They're in Memphis with the Grizzlies. These were stunners. I don't think there's any doubt in my mind that there should be something for Jerry West. I don't know. Maybe they have something planned, but I don't get it. He was part of the Clippers, part of the Lakers, part of the Grizzlies. 2 of the 3 one has already done it. One will do it. The other one, I'm not sure what's going to happen. So we'll wait to see if there's any honoring of the logo Jerry West in Memphis. I think it should happen.
Yeah,
personally.
I've not asked anybody. I don't know. I have no idea if there's any plan to do anything or not, as far as that is concerned. So, what blew me away last night at the beginning of that Lakers game? I was talking about LeBron, and I don't know. It just doesn't seem like when they said Mike Conley beginning his 18th season in the NBA, it blew me away. I was like, it just doesn't seem like Mike Conley has been in the league now for 18 years.
I know.
He had a rough night last night. It was not a good start to his 18th season at all.
No.
It was a brutal one. But
tough night for Minnesota all around.
It
really.
Just, that one I was like, gosh dang, that was 18 years ago that Mike Conley came to the Grizzlies.
We're all getting old, buddy. Julius Randle, of course, was the other big name in the Karl Anthony Towns trade with the Knicks. His first game in Minnesota, 16 points, 9 rebounds, 4 assists. Not bad. 34 minutes for Julius Randle. Rudy Gobert had 13 points and 14 rebounds to go along with a block. He also got a contract extension. Gobert's extension, 3 years, $110 million.
Yeah, they were kind of in a situation with him because he had the $46 million player option for next year. So they got him to give him the extension, in turn declining that, so it reduces the amount of money they have to pay him next year. They extend it out over time. Kind of works out for everybody. They've done a nice job of reducing their salary cap with the Karl Anthony Towns trade, now taking his salary down quite a bit for next year as well. with this extension. So they were in salary cap hell coming into this season. The Towns trade helped with that, and now this helps for next year. So obviously they're doing as much work on that. You mentioned, again, I don't know what the plan is, if there's anything for Jerry West, but was excited to see the Grizzlies announce their plans for opening night. And the Quad City DJs is going to be here Saturday night for halftime.
Who the hell are they?
Come on, ride the train.
Oh, really?
Yes.
I didn't know who sang that song. I love that song.
And they also the song from Space Jam. Is it Space Jam? Yeah, Space Jam. Is that right?
I think that's right.
Yeah, they did a song from Space Jam.
Gonna ride the train. Yeah, that's a good song.
Yeah, they're doing halftime. I'm pumped about it. I haven't heard that song. I don't know the last time I heard that song, but that was like I assume that was I just assume it was mid 90s, because I feel like when I was in college, like everywhere you went, if you were at a bar, club, whatever, that song was coming on, and people went like it was a rush to the dance floor for people. People had to be out there for that song.
Yeah, I didn't know the artist. Loved the song, and then when the song kind of disappears from society for decades, you welcome it back, which brings me to the point of, I hope to God they put the rest. All we do is win, win, win at the end of the game. They got to get rid of that. That is.
I guess they won't.
Oh, please, just get rid of that song. Get another song that has to do with winning. Please get rid of that song. But I do like that song. Had no idea who the artists are.
Yeah.
What else is happening on opening night?
They've got, I am not familiar with this artist, but they're Grammy-nominated singer-songwriter Jekyll Carr will be doing the national anthem.
Jekyll and Carr.
I assume that's how you pronounce the name, Jekyll. I don't.
Jekyll Carr.
J-E.
But you meant Jekyll and Jekyll and Hyde.
Jekyllyn.
Okay.
I'm going to go Jekyllyn.
Mm-hmm. Barry Manilow going to be appearing
Project
at all?
Pat will be performing during the player introductions.
Of course.
They've got the Plaza Party on Friday from 4 to 6. First 250 adult fans in attendance will receive a pair of opening night tickets, courtesy of Ja Morant and Nike.
Very nice.
Nike's going to be on site with their customized Ja truck.
Will they give away sneakers? That would be nice.
People are going to be able to win merchandise, including the Ja 2 colorways.
Might sign up for that.
They're also going to be apparently popping up around town all weekend long in celebration of the launch of the Ja 2s. So you're going to be able to. So Nike's going to be around town. So yeah, then they're going to be the street team will be out there. There'll be different places around town. You'll see them. They'll be giving away various things, including tickets. So it's the first 10,000 fans opening night get the Grizzlies Classic Edition reversible bucket hat. Elijah, you a bucket hat guy? You're a hat guy. Are you a bucket hat guy?
In my past, I had a phase.
Really?
You had a bucket hat phase?
I did.
I don't know. You and T. Morant, right? The only people I've ever known that wear a bucket hat.
I don't think I've ever had a bucket hat. I don't know if I've ever worn a bucket hat in my life.
I never have.
Maybe I have, but I don't know. I can't remember wearing a bucket hat.
I think I've worn a bucket, but not a bucket hat.
The reversible. This is the reversible bucket hat. I don't know what the two sides are, but yeah, we got the bucket hat. First 10,000 fans.
That's great.
Hopefully somebody goes for a hat trick on opening night and they could all throw them.
There you go. No, don't encourage that. I know it won't hurt anybody, but still, don't encourage that. It will delay the game. I'm
pretty sure nobody will go for a hat trick.
I love the job. I know. Hat trick. What would that be? Triple-double. Triple-double would be the equivalent to a hat trick. Hockey's hat trick. They do a really good job in the in-game promotions and the crew that does the thing. They've always done a really good job with that. I'll be curious to see. Obviously, the sound system is different. I've been there already for a preseason game. It does sound different. It sounds much better. I like what they did there. But as far as the big renovations to the arena, that has not happened. Hasn't even started yet. So I'm not sure where that is going. It has to happen. But nothing new to report on that front. But as far as we've talked a lot about younger people not going to Tigers games and how do you get the attendance up and what can you do? You know, the Grizzlies have not really had that much of a problem. They certainly want more ticket sales, but they have, I don't know this for a fact, though, but it seems like they've increased in a positive way, even during these tough times since post-COVID. Is that the case? I mean, didn't they sell out the whole lower bowl last year, all the suites?
Well, the season tickets are the lower bowl, and as far as season tickets go, is sold out. I don't know if the club level is sold out season ticket wise.
See, again, it's the thing.
It's the pinnacle level, I guess.
Yeah, it's the thing to do. And corporations are buying blocks of tickets for their employees and things of that nature.
They had an extremely high renewal rate from last year. I think, as expected, I think fans understand what last year was, and are understand it was just it was just a season of injury and all that. So I think people expect this team to be really good, and so they're buying tickets and ready to go watch them once again. Got a text on the Sissy's Log Cabin listener line from Big Man. He says, if healthy, they can win 50 plus games. Yep, their over/under number right now is at 46.5. If you want to bet on it, you can. It's at 46.5. ESPN and their big season preview, they have the Grizzlies ranked 11th overall, 6th in the Western Conference. Their BPI, I guess, projected win total is 44.4.
It's right around what I'm thinking, 44 to 46.
I think they'll win more than that, but they give a 69% chance to make the playoffs.
I think, as a big man, I think he's right on. I mean, certainly, I'm taking into consideration when I'm thinking about where the Grizzlies will be when it's all said and done. You got to factor in that there's going to be some missed games. But we know in the past that when Ja and Dez and Jaren have all played 50-plus games, they're going to the playoffs and they're one of the top teams. So winning 50 is certainly not out of the question. I'm taking that into consideration, that there'll be some missed games. I think they're going to be around 46. I think they're a 6th-place team in the West, maybe a 5th-place team in the West. I think you got them a little higher. But I think they're a playoff team. I think it'd be disappointed if they are not. At worst, a play-in. God forbid they were in the bottom 5. I just don't see that happening unless, again, the basketball gods are wishing bad things on this city and on this organization. But hopefully that will not be the case. I think with the talent that they have a really good chance to be one of the better teams. I just think there's probably 3-4 teams that I have to pick over them. And they could go through injuries and they can have their own issues. But right now on paper, that's what I would do.
So would you go over under 46.5?
I would go under because I'm going 46. I can't believe that's the number, 46.5. Because that's the number I was thinking in my head was 46 wins for the Grizzlies.
I would go over.
46.5. Again, if you can tell me that those guys are playing 60 games, 65 games, I would definitely go over. Definitely go over.
My hope is this. I hope Ja Morant is eligible for postseason awards.
Yes.
And if he is, I think they will go over 46.5.
Hallelujah. Hallelujah.
I hope the other guys are healthy as well. But tell me Ja is eligible for postseason awards, and I will certainly go over. I would certainly go over 46.5 if he is.
When we come back, got some news involving college basketball and postseason tournaments. Also, some interesting news from the Pac-12, and then we'll dive into some other things from the world of basketball. Again, we continue to take your calls and texts on the Sissy's Log Cabin listener lines at 901-360-8255.
This Friday and Saturday at Genesis Diamonds, their largest sale ever on their luxury pre-owned Rolex watch collection. They always have the biggest selection in the state of Tennessee, but they've also brought in plenty of extras for this massive event going on Friday and Saturday. Every one of these luxury pre-owned Rolexes is in pristine condition, and they're all priced to sell. There's zero interest financing available, and if you purchase a luxury pre-owned Rolex watch at this event, they're going to give you a pair of 2-carat lab-grown diamond stud earrings absolutely free. That's this Friday and Saturday only. You got to take advantage of this opportunity. Genesis Diamonds, Friday and Saturday, Poplar and Perkins Extended.
Did you see where John Hollinger, who used to work for the Grizzlies, picked the Grizzlies to go under 500?
I did not see that.
Yeah, he's the only one that I've seen really down on the Grizzlies. I guess he's taken into consideration that he believes that they can't stay healthy. All right, we'll take a timeout. This is Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
We are Real Sports Talk. Sports 56 WHBQ. Available on your radio dial at 560 AM and 98.5 FM, as well as around the world online at sports56whbq.com. Take us with you everywhere by downloading the Sports 56 app. And at home, just say, Alexa, play Sports 56. Wherever you are, stay tuned in to Real Sports Talk. Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Get ready, Memphis. It's our 35th annual Trucktober happening here. Sunrise Buick GMC and Wolf Chase. Big trucks, load trucks, four-wheel drive trucks, two-wheel drive trucks, crew cab trucks, extended cab trucks, diesel trucks, gas trucks. We got red trucks, black trucks, white trucks. We got trucks for big jobs. We got trucks for weekend warriors. We got trucks for great gas mileage and trucks for all your towing needs. Huge discounts, big rebates, special interest rates. We've got it all. Ford, slow pay, it's all okay at Sunrise. Home of the guaranteed approval. Come see us for all your car, truck, and SUV needs. Visit us at the good-looking building on Highway 64 in Bartlett. It's Truck Month. We make it fun to buy a car.
Hi, it's the Herd. NBA's finally back. New season means new ways to get into the action on DraftKings Sportsbook, official sports betting partner of the NBA. New DraftKings customers. Bet $5 to get $200 instantly in bonus bets. Take it to the rack with DraftKings Sportsbook. Every point counts. Download their app. Use the code HERD to get this deal, H-E-R-D, the code HERD, to get $200 in bonus bets, betting just $5. Only on DraftKings, the crown is yours.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort in Kansas. 21 plus age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Void in New Hampshire, Oregon, Ontario. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/bball.
When you're working outdoors, unpredictability is the norm, so tackle your toughest jobs with the 2025 Honda Pioneer 700. This rugged side-by-side brings power to any party with reliable torque for towing and smooth shifting for the trails. And you can choose between 3 trims, Standard, Deluxe, or the True Timber Force Edition, equipped for ultimate backwoods adventures. See the 2025 Honda Pioneer 700 today at Deseto Honda, 5656 Newman Road in Old Branch. For safety measures,
Grizz Nation, join John, Jared, Dez, and your Memphis Grizzlies for opening night this Saturday at 7 p.m. Arrive early for the pregame plaza party, and the first 10,000 fans receive a Grizzlies Classic reversible bucket hat. Secure your tickets today at Grizzlies.com.
Now back to Sports 56 Mornings.
Good morning!
On Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Here once again, Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
Again, if you're just tuning in, DeAndre Hopkins is headed to Kansas City. Not a done deal just yet, but they simply going to have to dot the I's, cross the T's, and the Titans wide receiver heads to Kansas City to help out with the depleted wide receiver core with the undefeated Chiefs. Looks like a conditional 4th-round pick in return to the Titans from the Kansas City Chiefs. And if you missed it overnight, Fernando Valenzuela has passed away at the age of 63 in 1981. Rookie of the Year in the National League, Cy Young Award winner, and led the Dodgers to a World Series title. Dodgers and Yankees, of course, will get underway on Friday from Los Angeles. I'm sure they'll have a moment of silence for Fernando. We'll have some kind of ceremony as Game 1 will take place at Dodger Stadium. So the NIT, not that people go gaga over the NIT, but it is one of the postseason basketball tournaments. They have altered their selection process for the tournament. The ACC and the SEC will get 2 automatic bids each, while the other conferences will get 1. The hell's that all about? I mean, why those 2? Anyway, so they have altered the process. But they're also trying to make changes in response to a new postseason tournament that will begin this upcoming year, the 24-25 season, so in 2025. It's going to be a 16-team postseason basketball tournament put on by Fox. So got some, powerful backing in the Fox network. I don't know if that means the demise of the CBI and the CIT or whatever other alphabet tournament that we've had in the past. But this looks like a legitimate postseason tournament.
I think they've already gone through their demise. I don't think they ever had. They were demised from the beginning.
From the get-go?
They never had
Somehow they survived, though.
You can't demise from where they were.
But again, look, it's nice. I don't know how many people other than people associated or affiliated with those schools care. It's not the NCAA tournament. All people care about is the NCAA tournament. So you can have the NIT, which at one time, I know years ago, was the bigger tournament when the NCAA was, fledgling tournament. But you have the Fox and now the NIT, and that means more spots for teams to make it to the postseason. La-di-da-di-da-di. That's fantastic. But if you're not making the NCAA tournament, that's a huge disappointment, especially when it comes to a program like the University of Memphis.
I would assume that Fox believes that is better programming than something else they could put on FS1 or whatever.
Yeah.
And
it's all about making money.
If they think that that's better programming than what they could possibly come up with at that time of year on FS1, then why not do it?
Yeah.
Now, I don't know how many people watch it, but they must believe that more people will watch that than whatever else they would have on at that time of year.
Sure. If it's worth their while from a financial standpoint, if they're going to make money on it, they're going to do it. Also yesterday, I thought this was interesting. The Pac-12 has hired Octagon, the agency Octagon, to make its media rights deals. Now, they still have to get an eighth team because they're still not yet an official conference. But Octagon, I don't know if that means they're going to be able to get a better deal because Octagon is representing them. And I don't know how often Octagon has been involved in media rights packages. I mean, they're representing individuals, athletes, maybe entertainers as well from the movies and television. I'm not sure about all they do. But Octagon is a big company. And the Pac-12, according to reports, have hired their services.
Well, good luck to Octagon.
Yeah, like I said, first you got to get an eighth team. You don't have a league, and nobody apparently wants to be a part of it. Not right now. It's kind of the chicken and the egg thing, right? There are interested schools if the price is right, as Bobby Barker used to say. But you don't know what you can get when you don't have a full array of teams. So how do you try to sell that product? It's going to be interesting to say the least. If you get a promise from a network and you can get that in writing, as we talked about yesterday with NIL deals, then who knows? It may entice somebody. It's never over until it's over, right? It's right now, Memphis isn't a part of it. But down the road, if it's a different financial offer, right? You got to keep your options open. That's all I'm saying.
I mean, they're doing the smart thing now in trying to at least get some sort of numbers instead of just the complete guesstimate of, hey, we're going to be able to get this much money when there's no proof whatsoever of that. So at least if you have something, if they go out now and get these numbers and say, all right, this is kind of the ballpark that we're at least get a ballpark figure of this is what it would be, well, then you at least have something to present to these schools other than, hey, here's what we think it's going to be. Well, that's great what you think it's going to be. Tell me what the TV companies think it's going to be. Tell me what the networks are actually willing to pay, not what you think they might pay just because you're guessing that.
Yeah. DeMichael Cole will join us at 9:05. He tweeted out a story about three-point shooting, and we just talked about Boston, what they did last night. And that's where basketball is today. You have to have the ability to keep up with the Joneses with three-point shooting. Memphis has several really good three-point shooters, but they're not known as a three-point shooting team. But he tweets and says, Now is a good time to say John Morant plans to take more three-pointers this year, and Jaren Jackson Jr. will operate on the perimeter a lot with Zach Edey on the floor. So that means Jackson subsequently will probably take a few more threes than he usually does. I don't know if I feel good about that statement, that Ja will take more three-pointers. Ja occasionally has that hot streak where he'll hit 4 out of 5, 5 out of 6. But let's not confuse things. He is not a real good three-point shooter. And so I don't know if I want to see that. I still want to see the penetration. Ja's a 31.5% three-point shooter. Smart's a 33% shooter from three. Jackson's a 32.6% shooter from three. Bane's the guy you want to get the ball to. He's 41.5%. You want Ja with the penetration, the kickouts, the drop-offs, and the alley-oops to Zach Edey, the pick and rolls and things of that nature. But I'm also good with not seeing Ja on every play with reckless abandon, where he goes up and over a 7-footer and lands on his wrist. I'm good not seeing that as much, although for fans, they want the spectacular. And you're going to get some of that. That's why he's must-watch. I said that from day one when he was drafted. He's must-watch. He's so exciting that you don't want to turn your head because you may miss something. But also, if he wants to slow down a bit, we talk about that with football players. Anthony Richardson on my Colts. Dude, every play you can't try to run through people. You're going to get hurt, and you have already several times. Well, Ja has gotten hurt as well several times. So be a little bit more selective on that. But I don't want him to just sit there and settle and shoot threes. If he was a 39% three-point shooter, I'd say, okay, but he's not.
Well, Ja's got to show the willingness to shoot threes, the ability to just be a threat to make them, so that defenders can't just lag off of him. And I don't know. Well, I would assume that Ja's worked on his shot as he has in the past. It's been a long time since I've seen Ja Morant out on a basketball court shooting three. So hopefully he has improved as a three-point shooter. If he can shoot in the low 30%, if he could be a 33% shooter, that makes him even that much harder to guard.
I'm laughing at this tweet I just saw. Somebody said, sign Scottie Pippen to a 10-day deal. We're not talking about Junior, who's already signed. Sign Scottie Pippen and let Scottie play with Scottie Pippen Jr. and follow up what LeBron and Bronny did. That's pretty funny. Corky's Ribs and Barbecue, nothing funny about it, just delicious barbecue. Man, they have been serving up that slow smoke barbecue for 4 decades. You can dine in at any of their 4 establishments. You could have any of the services delivered to your home or office. Just pick it up yourself. Carry out, no contact delivery with the drive-through. They will cater any event you got coming up. Starts you out as low as $8.99 per person. And again, nothing's too small, nothing's too large as far as catering opportunities with Corky's. When you head over for lunch or dinner, add a third of a rack of ribs for just $7.99 when you purchase one of their delicious entrees, from a barbecue sandwich, a pulled pork platter, to the award-winning catfish plate. Party packs start at just $7.49. They do have lunch specials every day. Located at Poplar Avenue in Memphis, Poplar Avenue in Collierville, Germantown Parkway in Cordova, Goodman Road in Olive Branch. When you start to do your Christmas shopping, get some stocking stuffers, a Corky's gift card. Always good to stuff a stocking with, he tried to say. Corky's Ribs and Barbecue, open for lunch and dinner 7 days a week. Hour 2 on the way. This is Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
I'm Finley Lavin, defender for University of Memphis Women's Soccer. Southern Security has the perfect low-interest rewards credit card. Variable annual percentage rates ranging from 15 to 18% and may increase at any time. Transfer your high-interest credit card balances to a Southern Security Rewards Visa today. Don't miss out on low rates and no transfer fees until December 31st, 2024. Apply today at southernsecurity.org or call our member service team 901-452-7900. Southern Security is a proud supporter of the University of Memphis Athletics, federally insured by NCUA.
Hi, this is Troy Five Ash, owner of Five Ash Roofing. Did you know there are so many roofing companies in Memphis that I don't even know them all? So that begs the question, which one should you choose? So I thought I'd give you a little background about me. My grandfather was a World War II Marine. My father worked for the University of Memphis for nearly 30 years. My mother, a pianist at Raleigh Baptist Church. Seems like forever. I went to Brownsville Road, Craigmont, and Bartlett High School, class of 81. We support the local school systems, youth athletics, and believe in what St. Jude and Le Bonheur stand for. I'm a Tiger and Grizz fan. The point? Memphis is my home. Five Ash Roofing will be around if you ever have a problem with the service we provide. Five Ash Roofing, fair, honest, and ethical, with deep local ties in our community. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com.
Five Ash Roofing, it's what we do. We're here for you.
It's October at Sunrise Chevrolet GMC of Culver. Get a most cheaper and open this with 824 Chevy Silverado 1500 LP or a 24 GMC Sierra Sunrise Chevrolet GMC of Culver. We know it's fun to buy a car.
Price plus tax, title, and license. Price includes $899.50 processing fee. Silverado R124 8261 MSRP 60,600. Dealer incentive 5151. Customer cash 3,000. Bonus cash 1750. Sierra RZ 321564 MSRP 87,500. Dealer incentive 7,000. Purchase allowance 2750. Expires 10/31/24.
Join us celebrating 26 years of Napa Cafe. Hi, I'm Glenda Hastings, owner of Napa Cafe, and I'm inviting you over for dinner. Treat yourself tonight with a delightful dinner of scrumptious combinations, fresh salads, homemade soups, or maybe start with an appetizer like our baked Dungeness crab dip with manchego cheese, lemon, garlic, and French baguette toast. Drift into one of our fresh seafood dishes like the caramelized sea scallops with curry beurre blanc, black forbidden rice, and Thai mango salad, or our ancho honey glazed salmon with creamy black bean puree, avocado pico de gallo, and jalapeno crema. Maybe you're looking for something cozy and comforting like our Duroc pork chop with apple brandy demi-glaze and blue cheese bacon mashed potatoes. We have something for everyone. Napa Cafe, open Wednesday through Saturday for dinner starting at 5 o'clock. For reservations, visit our website at napacafe.com. Come join us as we celebrate 26 years of Napa Cafe. I'd sure love to see you.
Traffic brought to you by 901 Eats to Go, 3135 Kirby Whitten Road in Bartlett. Pick up, DoorDash, Uber Eats, or online at 901eats.com. Eats with the Z. Good food fast.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good morning. They're still trying to clean up the paperwork on a crash that slowed it down earlier on 385 Billmore's Parkway near Ridgeway. It did cause extra traffic to run slow now on 385 Billmore's Parkway from, let's say, Winchester all the way up to Ridgeway as traffic starts to pick up now on the interstate. Coming in from Fayette County, I-40 westbound, it's still moving. It's just busy there at times on 40 West all the way to Germantown Parkway, working your way up to Sycamore View Road. Weimer's Jewelry, serving the Memphis area now for what, over 40 years, no matter what the occasion is. It's coming up. Check with them first. Why? Because you'll save a lot of money at Weimer's Jewelry at 7525 Highway 64. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
This is Original Sports Station. We are Sports 56, WHBQ Memphis, and W253DF Memphis.
Now back to Sports 56 mornings on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by James Gaddis Jewelers.
Genuine diamonds, baby.
Here once again, Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
Welcome back, everyone. 8:03 the time. Welcome in. If you're just tuning in, Greg Gaston, Eli Savoy, Elijah Seegers on this Hump Day edition of Sports 56 Mornings, the Wednesday, October 23rd edition to be exact. We are in the Family Leisure Studios, Family Leisure, where family and fun come together, 2120 Whitten Road, just north of I-40. Currently 59. It will get up to 87 today, sunshine, and then tonight clear skies with an overnight low of 59. Again, more of the same tomorrow, even warmer on Friday. Saturday, though, some cloud cover, 77 degrees for a high with a morning game, 11 a.m. kickoff for Memphis and Charlotte. Man, the weather should be absolutely outstanding. More like fall, I would imagine, in the morning, then get a little toastier as the day progresses, but not too toasty at 77 degrees. Coming up in hour 2, Jerry Palm will join us at 8:25. Then in hour 3, to Michael Cole at 9:05 from Salt Lake City, the site of tonight's Grizzlies season opener against the Utah Jazz at 9:25. We'll talk Memphis Tigers basketball, the whole Tyreek Smith saga with Parth Upajai from the Daily Memphian.
Got a text here on the Assisted Log Cabin listener line from Raider Corey. Says, wife and I will depart for Vegas tomorrow afternoon with the culminating event being the Raiders and Chiefs game. Wonder if he's playing quarterback for the Raiders. Maybe he's just working out for the team. Maybe they're going to get a look at him. This will be our first missed Grizzlies home opener in quite some time. I predict 48 wins, assuming health and no significant injuries.
Have fun in Vegas. Who did the Raiders just pick up?
They signed Desmond Ridder.
They got Ridder, and then Bailey Zappi was signed by Cleveland, correct?
Yes.
Talk about retreads.
Well, Zappi, was he on the – I think he was already on the Browns practice squad.
He was? Okay.
Ritter was on the Cardinals practice squad.
Right, and a former starter with the Atlanta Falcons. I mentioned that Fox tournament, the basketball tournament postseason, a couple of other details about that. It will be a 16-team postseason. It's going to be a partnership with the Big Ten, the Big 12, and the Big East. So does that mean all the teams come from those three conferences only?
I would think there's probably a pretty good chance of that if you're partnering with them.
You know what they need to do is get rid of clauses in any coach's contract that gives them a bonus for making the postseason. There's so many events now, tournaments.
Well, I would assume most schools are not giving bonuses for CIT berths or stuff like that. I would assume it's NCAA.
Who knows? Agents are good. 20-win seasons, right? I mean, now it's a dime a dozen when you get to it. Major League Baseball, the World Series starts Friday. I saw this story. The average ticket price, somehow they looked at all the tickets, what they're going for now for the possibility of a 7-game series. It may only go 4, 5, 6, whatever the case may be. They averaged it all out. Games in New York, games in Los Angeles. The average ticket price, $1,413 per ducat. $1,413 for a ticket. Now, I want to ask the both of you, your favorite team, you like the Rockies, right?
That is correct.
Okay. Cubs, Phillies. What is the most money you would spend for a ticket to go see your team in the World Series? Just for the ticket. I'm not talking about the travel or any of that stuff.
I would probably top out at about $500.
You would go $500. I'm cheap. I would only go $300 to $400 at the most. What about you?
Well, it would. I mean, I'm not paying like $500 to sit in the last row of the stadium.
Right. You'd rather watch it on TV or at a bar.
I mean, they're like if I could get a decent seat for $1,000, I would do it.
Would you really?
Yeah.
Wow, you'd go $1,000?
But I wouldn't get with the Cubs. That's impossible to do. So it's. I mean, the last time, obviously, when they went in 2016, it was not even. It was way above that.
Didn't the
You couldn't even get in the last row of the stadium for $1,000 in 2016.
With the Cardinals, Brett's probably listening. Has he been to a World Series game? When Wolo went to, didn't Wolo and those guys go to, was it a World Series game they went to? And Wolo's a Cubs fan. Oh, and a quasi-White Sox fan. And apparently at times a Cardinals fan.
Stats has been to a number of World Series games.
Okay, I want to know if Stats is listening. Text me. I mean, they probably got a good deal, whatever, but I wonder what it is they paid and what would they pay. I got it. Maybe I'm the cheapest dude in the world, but I go maybe max at $400. If I'm paying like $750 or $1,000 to see a World Series game, and I love being at the sporting events. I always say it, and there's nothing like being at the event as opposed to TV. But for that much money, I'd rather kick back with some beers and food at home and watch it on television.
Well, if you're only willing to pay that much, you're not going to a World Series game.
I'm sure I'm not.
But
I would
so
go.
you're saying you wouldn't go to a World Series game?
No, I'd go upper deck.
But you're not. $300-$400 is getting you.
Not even an upper decker?
No. I don't know. I mean, I guess I don't even know who you'd be. It wouldn't be. I can't imagine in Philadelphia that would get.
Yeah, probably not. So I'm probably not going to the World Series.
You'd have to be on the road at, I don't know where, Tampa Bay, maybe. If you're on the road, if you're playing the Rays and you went down to Tampa, I guess maybe $300-$400 could get you into place.
Right. But I'm not paying $1,413. I can tell you that much. That is crazy. That's the average ticket price.
Maybe this coming year, if they play Tampa and Tampa's playing in wherever Tampa's playing this year, then you could get a.
Hey, do you know what the schedule is? Do you know if Game 2 is Sunday night? Are they going up against the NFL?
Normally they do it because they'll do the Fox basically triple header with football and then baseball, but no, they're doing Saturday. They're going Saturday, Monday.
Saturday, Monday. So Saturday night. Is there a huge? There's not a Georgia Texas game this week.
They're probably doing it as a. They're probably following. Yes, this year they're doing it with Fox football, and again, maybe they did it last year too. I don't know. They're probably following Fox college football and making it one solid thing. You got college football leading you into the World Series rather than they used to do the NFL leading into the World Series.
I got to think there's a chance to have record numbers of viewership for the Yankees and Dodgers. I could be wrong. I just think the numbers are going to be extremely good.
I mean, obviously, when you got the two largest markets there is, and the star power that is involved in this series, that I would say they will probably do pretty well. I don't know whether record. I don't know there'll be record, but they should do very well. I mean, you can't ask for, from a Major League Baseball perspective, they can't ask for anything more. When you're between star power, market size, every best teams, there's nothing more they could possibly ask for, and I'm sure they'll do well in Japan because of Shohei as well. Well, the one game
when will those games be on? What time will it be in Japan?
Padres Dodgers game that was Darvish versus Yamamoto. What was the viewership? Japan, I can't remember what the number was from Japan. I want to say it was 13 or 14 million in Japan watching that one.
Not a surprise.
Those games are they're like what is Japan 13 hours ahead?
It's 13 hours ahead.
Yeah, so you're talking 8 o'clock in the morning.
Not bad.
No, yeah, I mean that's
better than getting up at 3 in the morning.
Those two games this weekend will be 8 o'clock in the morning Saturday, 8 o'clock in the morning Sunday in Japan.
It doesn't get any bigger in college football than when Sam Houston and Florida International get together, but they did last night. As once again we had some Tuesday night college football. Sam Houston wins 10-7. They have made their transition, so now they are bowl eligible. Congratulations to the Sam Houstons whatever. What's their nickname?
Sam Houston is the what is Sam Houston?
The Bearcats.
Bearcats.
The Bearcats. Florida International is the Panthers, right?
That's correct.
10-7. Sam Houston wins, so they go to 6-2. Florida International coach Mike McIntyre, the former Memphis defensive coordinator, unfortunately, they dropped to 2-6. And UTEP comes up short trying to make it 2 wins in a row. They lose in Ruston, Louisiana, as La Tech gets them 14-10 tonight. Undefeated Liberty at winless Kennesaw State. Check your local listings for the start time of that one. Middle Tennessee State at the Fighting Rich Rodriguez as they take on Jacksonville State on the road.
That's some good matchups right there. Those will do big numbers.
That's a couple of coaches right there that have kind of fallen a little bit. Derek Mason, once a head coach in the SEC, coaching up Middle Tennessee. Rich Rodriguez, former Michigan head coach, and other places coaching up Jacksonville State. Yesterday, they announced the SEC Legends class of 2024. They do this every year. It's really cool to see some of these guys recognized, and a couple of local stars, former stars. Barrett Jones, ECS, will represent Alabama with the SEC Legends class, and Ken Hamlin, the former Fraser High School standout, which is no more, and Arkansas Razorback. Ken Hamlin will represent the University of Arkansas. others of note, Dexter McCluster will represent Ole Miss. Fletcher Cox, who's from Yazoo City in Mississippi, he represents Mississippi State. And Eric Berry, the former defensive back for Tennessee, great player, he will represent the Tennessee Volunteers. Some superstars certainly on that
and
list.
Vince Young will represent Texas because his SEC career was amazing.
I was just going to get to that. You have Barry Switzer representing Oklahoma and Vince Young representing Texas. How do you feel about that?
It's dumb. Just don't do one for those schools. I don't.
But they're now a part of the league.
But those guys weren't. You're talking about SEC legends. They are not SEC legends. They didn't play in the SEC. They played one down in the SEC. So you don't have I think people understand if when you're doing your SEC legends, you don't have guys from the schools who are brand new to the league.
Yeah.
They don't have any because they don't have anybody who's played in the SEC.
Perhaps they played against some SEC teams in their careers. Or coached against some SEC teams.
Now, it's not quite as bad as the ACC claiming the gold medals for Katie Ledecky as ACC gold medals.
Right.
But I don't like it. It's quite easy to say, no, you guys won't have anybody in this until you actually have some players or people who have been involved in the SEC who would qualify as legends. And I don't know however long you need to go on that. Maybe you wait 5 years in or whatever, and then you start doing some SEC legends of guys who are on these teams. But to announce Vince Young as an SEC legend makes no sense.
It is very stupid on the surface. I mean, Vince Young and Barry Switzer, I'm assuming they were asked to do this before it was announced, and they said, yeah. So they have no problems with it.
Well, no, I mean, hell, you ask me to be announced as a legend anywhere, I'll say, yeah, okay, yeah. You're going to call me a legend? Hell yeah, I'll be a legend. I'm not going to say, no. I don't want to be recognized as a legend. That's dumb. No, you're going to say, yes, I want to be a legend. But you shouldn't be asking them. The first question, hey, did Vince Young play in the SEC? No, he didn't. All right, he can't be an SEC legend then. It's impossible to be a legend of something you didn't participate in.
That's pretty funny. I wonder if and I'm not sure how long they've been doing this, the legends. I wonder if there's ever been a legend for a school that's in the SEC where that player, and when he played for that school, was not in the SEC. Like South Carolina hasn't been in the SEC forever. South Carolina's been in the SEC for how long? Do you know?
I don't. What was it? Early 90s.
So
something like that. I don't remember.
Okay.
I don't know for sure.
So George Rogers. Is that the right guy I'm thinking of? Is that his name? The former, who was that South Carolina stud running back? Is it George Rogers?
I believe George Rogers played at South Carolina, yes.
Okay.
I think.
Was he ever honored by the SEC legends? Yeah, it was George Rogers. And he played for South Carolina. And he won the Heisman in 80. So that was pre-SEC, correct?
Yes.
Yeah. Brett tells me Arkansas and SEC came in 92. In 92.
That was right before, because the SEC championship game started, in 93? 93?
Okay, so was there in this case, was there a South Carolina Gamecock or an Arkansas Razorback that played and was honored by SEC legends, but played for those teams before those teams became members of the SEC? And Rogers seems like a perfect candidate to have been honored sometime.
I don't know
in
when
the history.
I'm not sure when they started doing the whole legends thing, where they started honoring them.
Elijah, see if you could find out the list of the SEC legends. How long it's been going on?
And
that would be a similar situation, though.
The thing is, if 30 years from now they honored Vince Young as an SEC legend, people would really, I don't know.
You wouldn't forget.
But when you, at the first year in the league, everybody obviously knows anybody that's ever played for him hasn't played in the league. It'd be simple. Just wait 5 years and then start doing some things. And then if on the road, yes, if you want to throw some guys in, but you don't need to throw those guys in. You'll have other legends that have actually played in the SEC, and you just honor those. You're only talking one guy per year, so you've got plenty to choose from once you've actually given them a little bit of time. It'd be really easy to not, for the first 5 years or whatever, hey, you guys are going to have one of the legends because you haven't been here. You don't have anybody who's played in the SEC to be a legend.
The American Conference does not do the same thing. If they did, down the road, I think you would think Seth Hennigan is a legend.
It'd be really hard to find legends off a lot of these teams.
Yes, but Memphis has them.
I don't know who the Rice legends would be. Let's honor
Hootie the Owl. Whatever the owl's name is.
Remember that year Rice had a punter who was pretty good? Let's honor him. What the hell? I don't know.
So they've been doing the SEC Legends since 1994.
Okay, so
has George Rogers ever been honored for South Carolina?
He was in the inaugural year.
See, I'm telling you, it's the same.
So it was the same. Well, yeah, that was the Texas situation. They'd only been in the league for a year. So if you're going to include them again, they should have told them, no, we're not doing anything for however long.
And that's one that just popped up right away in my head because he's a Heisman winner, South Carolina. But maybe there was some other guys.
Well, whoever, because Arkansas came in at the same time. Whoever Arkansas was, Arkansas and South Carolina, those first few years would have had to be guys that didn't play in the SEC.
Exactly, but they wanted to include them because they felt like if they did not, I mean, it's all inclusive, Eli. We want to include everybody in this world, right? Everybody. We're all on equal ground, my friend, and that includes Texas and Oklahoma in the SEC. But my point about Seth Hennigan, he was named one of 20 semifinalists for the Jason Witten Collegiate Man of the Year Award, which demonstrates leadership by exceptional courage, integrity, and sportsmanship on and off the field. So good luck to Seth. Again, he is one of the 20 semifinalists. And also, Mario Anderson named the Tennessee Sports Writers Association Player of the Week after running for 183 yards on 22 carries and scoring 4 touchdowns in the Tigers' win over North Texas.
Can't wait to hear the introduction of Vince Young and his resume of what makes him an SEC legend. He was the Big 12 Offensive Player of the Year. He was first team All Big 12. Here's SEC legend Vince Young.
Yeah, I know. It does sound weird. What doesn't sound weird is buying jewelry from James Gaddis Jewelers, the second-hour sponsor of Sports 56 Mornings. Are wedding bells in your future? If the answer is yes, you need a jeweler you can trust for that unforgettable diamond engagement ring. And Memphians have been trusting James Gaddis Jewelers for over 60 years. They have one of the biggest selections of engagement rings in the Mid-South and the best prices on GIA-certified diamonds. James has all the credentials. He's a master jeweler, a diamondologist. He's graded by the Gemologist Institute of America. So you know you're getting a reputable jeweler that you are buying or purchasing jewelry from. The type of credentials you want in your jeweler, whether it's the holidays, a fall wedding, or spring formals, beautiful jewelry accentuates your look. And James Gaddis Jewelers has everything from beautiful necklaces, earrings, and gemstones to stunning bracelets and watches, plus new jewelry collections are coming in weekly. Layaway and financing available. James Gaddis Jewelers, 4900 Poplar Avenue in East Memphis, or online at gaddisjewelers.com. And make sure to follow them on Instagram at Gaddis Jewelers to hear about all the exciting things happening at the store. Say I do at James Gaddis Jewelers. Jerry Palm is up next. This is Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Add a little fun to your lunch break. Join Johnny Radio for Sports 56 Happy Hour from 11 to 1 every weekday on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Case IH is a proud supporter of the Mississippi Farm Bureau, and thanks to a membership benefits partnership, Mississippi Farm Bureau members receive a discount of up to $500 on every qualifying Case IH tractor and piece of equipment you purchase. This discount may be used with other promotions, rebates, or offers. So join Mid-South Ag Equipment and the Mississippi Farm Bureau and pocket up to $500 in savings. Call Mid-South Ag at 662-890-3141 to get your discount today.
Paid for by Hims & Hers Health. Hims & Hers Weight Loss is not available everywhere. Compounded products are not FDA approved or verified for safety, effectiveness, or quality. Prescription required. Restrictions at forhers.com apply. Wegovy and Ozempic are not compounded.
Everyone's talking about the breakthrough of weight loss drugs. With hers, you can access doctor-trusted weight loss plans online, like compounded GLP-1 weekly injections with the same active ingredient as Ozempic and Wegovy, all for as low as $199 a month with a 12-month plan paid up front. Get started at forhers.com/start today. That's forhers.com/start. At Progressive, we know there's a lot of things you can track. Steps, calories, heart rate, your pet steps, screen time, the whereabouts of your favorite celebrity, how long you slept, how long you didn't sleep, how long you thought about sleeping, how long you thought about how long you thought about sleeping. But none of these things could save you money, unlike Snapshot from Progressive, which customizes your rate based on how and how much you drive. It's much better for your bottom line than tracking your Cocker Spaniel's resting heart rate. So download the Progressive app today.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Snapshot not available in California or from all agents. Surcharge possible for unsafe driving.
Hi, this is Troy Fiveash, owner of Fiveash Roofing. I have been told that my ads are all business and I should share some of my personality. Okay, I love tongue twisters, like the one about the terrific tasting toast by Taste Tester Toaster, or Big Black Bugs, Bleed Blue Blood, and of course Sally and her seashells. Or of course the ever-present I'm a mother pheasant plucker, I pluck mother pheasants. Okay, enough of that. If you want an honest, fair, reasonable roofing, siding, or gutter estimate, call 5Ash Roofing at 367-0050. That's exactly what you'll get. No empty promises, no high-pressure sales tactics, and no fast-talking salesman trying to convince you that today and only today is the best day for you to get a new roof. For the record, the best day to get a new roof is when you're ready for one. 5Ash Roofing, fair, honest, and ethical. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com.
5Ash Roofing, it's what we do. We're here for you.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good morning. Still working with a couple of accidents out here. It's still heavy traffic volume right now on 40 westbound from Chambers Chapel, Canada Road, all the way down to Sycamore View Road coming in from Fayette County. There's still a lot of volume there. It's also still a little bit crowded on Bill Morris Parkway westbound, trying to get past Ridgeway up on that ramp there to 240. Again, just a lot of heavy traffic. Weimer's Jewelry, 7525 Highway 64 is your full-service, family-owned jewelry store right here in the Memphis area. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Sports 56 mornings on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by James Gaddis Jewelers.
Diamonds are forever. Woo!
Here once again, Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
Welcome back, everyone. 8:26 is the time. Hour number 3, we'll talk Grizzlies opening night in Salt Lake City against the Utah Jazz. DeMichael Cole will join us from Salt Lake City at 9:05. Then at 9:25, we turn our attention to the Memphis Tigers men's basketball team as they will play on Monday next week in Huntsville against the University of Alabama in their second and final exhibition game before they get the season started for keeps on the 4th of November in a home clash against Missouri from the SEC at FedEx Forum. But right now, it's time to talk some college football with Jerry Palm.
It's time for Sports 56 Mornings Weekly Chat with Jerry Palm, college football and basketball writer and bracketologist for CBSSports.com. Here are Greg, Eli, and Jerry.
He is Jerry Palm from CBS Sports. You can follow him on Twitter at JPPalmCBS. He joins us every Wednesday during both the college football and college basketball seasons. JP, how are you?
All right, how are you?
I'm good. So I want to ask this question. It's off topic here, but just want to get your thoughts, Eli's thoughts on this. I'm stealing from the Dan Patrick Show. After the news of the passing of Fernando Valenzuela, which happened overnight, and of course you remember Fernando Mania, I'm sure, JP. Sure. Patrick asked the question on Twitter, on X. The biggest mania in sports history, was it Fernando Mania, Hulkamania, Tebow Mania, WrestleMania?
What was the second one?
Second one was Hulkamania, which is an offshoot of WrestleMania, but a separate thing. Tebow Mania was pretty wild for a while there.
Yeah.
Fernando Mania.
I mean, I'm not a wrestling guy, so I would have to go with Fernando. Tebow Mania was strictly a college thing. Whereas Fernando was, he was.
It was huge.
He was a legend. The whole time he was in the big.
It was so big, and then of course it went beyond just the country because in Latin countries and things of that nature, he was huge.
Yeah,
what do you think, Eli?
Yeah.
You're not a wrestling guy.
Well, I'm not a wrestling guy, but WrestleMania has gone on for however many years now and still draws like 100,000. Like there are people still.
You go WrestleMania?
I don't know what number they are on now, but it is still a huge deal every single year.
Have there been more Super Bowls or more WrestleManias? Probably more Super Bowls. Obviously more Super Bowls, yeah, because that started back in the 60s. There hasn't been any time off. So, all right. If I have the latest bowl projections and playoff projections you have on CBSSports.com was done on Sunday, correct? This was October 20th. Yep. So you still have Bama in there, right?
I do. I mean, they have to win all their games now, and they're probably not going to play for the conference title. But, 10-2 Alabama still got some pretty good wins, most notably Georgia. And then they have to beat LSU this week. They've got another game coming up against a team that's pretty good, if I remember correctly. So, yeah, it's going to be hard to leave out 10-2 Alabama because of the schedule and the quality of their win.
They don't have LSU this week.
They play right. It's
Missouri.
Not LSU. It's at A&M this week. It's Mizzou, but that's the other team that's in the rankings at least for now.
And you have Texas A&M at 11 in your projection, and LSU not in. So I assume you believe A&M is going to beat LSU this week.
Correct. Yeah, and that's a home field play.
And so, and then you believe LSU is also going to lose to Alabama, so that eliminates LSU from your.
Right.
You don't have.
There's just isn't room for everybody.
Yeah, you don't have Notre Dame in.
The SEC has got at least 8 pretty good teams that, if things went well enough for them, could be playoff teams, but there just isn't room for all 8 of them.
Right.
Although they'd be perfectly happy with an 8-team SEC playoff and screw everybody else.
Well, and there's no doubt they might. Who knows? They might end up doing that someday. Along that line, so what do you have for Tennessee the rest of the way?
Losing to Georgia.
And
so
that would
10-2.
That would be their second loss.
10-2, win over Alabama, bad loss to Arkansas.
So you think 10-2 Alabama would get in over 10-2 Tennessee, even
because
though Tennessee beat
of the
them?
greater number of quality wins, trumping a head-to-head result on their home field.
See, I don't know, man. I think that the committee behind closed doors would look at that head-to-head.
Well, they'll look at it. Yeah, I don't think it. If they had more similar number of quality wins, then yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
But the fact that Tennessee only had 2 quality opponents and lose to one of them and take another bad loss on the beyond that, of course if they beat Georgia, it's ended discussion. Obviously, 11-1 Tennessee is getting in, and 10-2 Tennessee may get in as well because it'll depend on what other teams do.
Mm-hmm.
But I think if they're both 10-2 and Tennessee loses to Georgia, I think that the strength of Alabama's schedule and wins will overcome a home head-to-head result.
11-1 Tennessee is probably in the SEC championship game too.
Yeah, you would think. But although, you could have a situation where you've got like 4 one-loss teams and you're into tiebreakers and stuff. I think I even wrote this, although it may not be published yet. Is that I think the SEC is going deep into their tiebreakers to settle.
Oh, I'm sure. So we're looking now at Vanderbilt as a good loss for Alabama.
Well, they're 5-2. I don't think that they would consider it a good loss.
No, but I'm being a little facetious.
That could be a bowl team. That could be a bowl team.
Oh yeah, they got to find one more. But yeah,
it's definitely not as bad a loss as it appears when you think of who Vanderbilt historically is.
Right.
But this Vanderbilt team seems to be better than that.
Oh yeah.
But
it's definitely a bad loss by Alabama standards. No question.
Absolutely.
So I guess the thing, so they would you consider Vanderbilt or Arkansas the worst loss? I mean, we'll see what happens the rest of the way with those two.
Vanderbilt. I'm sorry, Arkansas. Vanderbilt's better loss. Arkansas.
Vanderbilt's the better.
But we'll see what happens
Vanderbilt's better than Arkansas?
What you think? I don't know. Did they play each other? Maybe we'll find out.
No,
I don't think they play each other. And they may very well be, Jerry, because it is a different Vanderbilt team. It is a different Vanderbilt team, but I still think when you got those bodies behind closed doors, they're gonna still look at it and go, oh yeah, Vanderbilt's improved, but it's Vanderbilt.
Yeah. You got to give them a little more credit than that.
I don't know, man. I never give them that much credit.
I think Arkansas is definitely better than Vanderbilt.
Let me throw in another team into the mix. Ole Miss, 2 losses. What's that?
I said, what about them?
Oh, I thought you said they're out. If they
No.
win, if they rattle off 5 straight to end the season, includes a win over Georgia, they have the 2 losses. How about them as a 2-loss team? I think they're in.
They're certainly part of the discussion, but they can't. All the 10-loss teams can't get in. Okay,
Tell about the Sankey.
I'm sorry. All the 10-win teams can't get in.
Right.
All of if you have 6, 10, and 2 teams in the SEC, they're not all getting in. So
who's getting left out?
Well, it depends on who's there. They're a candidate. I would say they're a candidate at 10 and 2. I don't say they're a lock at 10 and 2.
You don't have Notre Dame in yet. Do you still?
Oh,
have
yeah, that's another one.
Notre Dame losing at USC.
I do. Yeah.
You might want to change
11
it.
and 1 Notre Dame is definitely
He lost to my Maryland Terrapins. You may want to change that one, Jerry.
Well, we'll see. I haven't given up on USC. Plus,
I thought maybe you were going to
honestly,
say you had them losing to Army or Navy, but no, so you still have
no,
them losing
well,
at
that
USC.
could happen too, although it seems much more unlikely. But I don't think that much of this Notre Dame team. This is a team that lost to a mid-level MAC team. I mean, we talk about all of these potential 10 and 2 teams. That is unquestionably the worst loss. And who are they going to beat if they're 10 and 2? If they lose to USC, who do they have as a win that anyone would care about?
Right. No, that's a good point. It's a good
I
point.
mean, but
they
if Texas
won
A&M makes the SEC championship game, they've got a road win over a team in the SEC championship game.
They did. They wanted A&M to start the year, and they're really relying on A&M to be, first of all, not 11 and 2, but 10 and 2, and then they've got a shot. But that's a head-to-head thing. Whereas A&M would have a couple of pretty good wins if they're 10 and 2, and no bad losses, and Notre Dame would have the win at A&M and absolutely nothing else. And I don't think that's enough.
Yeah,
I think their schedule holds them back, and it's not a one-game season.
I don't think they would lose to USC. So I don't. I think.
Well, I mean that's
11 and 1.
It's not
Notre
even
Dame
worth
is in.
discussing if they don't lose to USC.
11 and 1
Then
Notre
they're
Dame is in,
definitely
right?
Yeah, 11 and 1 Notre Dame would almost certainly get in. I don't see how they get left out at 11 and 1.
I can't wait till Judgment Day and how things go because you know me, I'm always a conspiracy
theorist. It's
theorist.
so difficult this year because we've talked about this before. The conference schedules are so disparate in terms of strength.
Right.
I mean, not everybody's schedule is good. It's just, within the league, not everybody has a good schedule. Like Tennessee, they got Georgia and Alabama, but everything else is, they may not beat, other than those 2 teams, now they beat Alabama, but they may not have another win over a team that has 7 wins even. And it's hard. And then NC State, of course, disappointed. But, it's hard. It's going to be hard for this committee to sort stuff out.
I think it is.
Strength of schedule, I think, is going to mean more than it ever has because it's going to be so different, even among teams within the same conferences.
No question. But I would bet my house that they're still going to put 4 teams in from the SEC. Maybe not 5.
Okay. Well, that's just a random number.
That's a random
I'm not
number.
saying that they won't.
That's the number
I'm not saying that they won't, but 4 teams get in from the SEC. You probably are going to have 7 teams that are good enough to get in,
right?
But they can't all get in.
Yeah, but here's the point I was going to make with Notre Dame. If Notre Dame gets in, it's not going to be at the expense of the SEC, in my opinion. Somebody else is not making it. I don't know who it is, but 4 teams from the SEC are getting in.
If Notre Dame gets in, it's probably at the expense of Texas A&M.
It may be, but somebody will take their place from the SEC. The SEC is getting 4 in. If they're not,
okay, well, if
you're
just counting teams from leagues, you're not doing this right. I mean, they may very well get 4 in. Unquestioned, they are certainly capable of getting 4 in. But if you're just counting teams and saying, well, they're going to put 4 in because it's 4 from the SEC, it's like a quota. That's not how this works.
I understand that, but I'm also one that doesn't believe they're human beings. I think they're influenced by Sankey. I think they're influenced by Notre Dame's power. I do. I just believe they are. And when it comes down to it, if Notre Dame, well, of course, 11 and 1, Notre Dame's getting in, but we'll see what happens with Notre Dame. But I'm telling you, 4 are getting in from the SEC, and if Notre Dame gets in, they're taking somebody's spot.
Well, it's not much of a stretch to say that 4 are getting in from the SEC.
I know.
That's not really much of a stretch because of the quality at the top of the league this year.
That's true.
But it's not a quota system, Greg.
I understand. It's going to be.
Well, you don't seem to, though.
Sooner than later, it's going to be a quota system.
You have Penn State at number 7. I assume you just have Penn State losing to Ohio State, and that's it?
Yes, although I did pick against them in my column as the upset of the week, but that's a flyer.
Because
you picked Penn State?
They're at Wisconsin.
Because they will be a team that literally has no win at all that
Exactly.
anybody would care
Which
about.
is why they're 7. 11-1 Big Ten team should be higher than 7. But because they don't really have a significant quality win, they'll beat a couple of bowl level teams. I don't think they'll have a top 25 win.
Illinois is like their best win. Other than that would make Illinois their best
be
win.
Lower than 7, and that's another example of strength of conference schedule. Penn State, that they had Illinois, and Illinois looks like they're on their way to being ranked at the end of the year. So that could end up being a better win than probably thought at the time.
You picked Wisconsin this week over Penn State. Is that what you were saying?
Yeah, but that's an upset pick. That's a flyer.
I like it.
I do that every week.
I like that pick. I really do. Wisconsin played great last week. And
that's kind of why I picked it. It's a combination of Wisconsin, like Purdue cured them 3 weeks ago or 3 games ago.
Right.
And now they've been hot. 3 games in a row with at least 20-point win. And then Penn State's got Ohio State next week. So they're coming off a bye.
Mm-hmm.
But if they're looking ahead at all, this is a bad time to be looking ahead.
So Penn State, if they couldn't afford another loss other than Ohio State, they would be
correct.
done.
Do you?
Yeah, and not just another loss. That'd be their first. they're
other than Ohio State, I'm saying other than Ohio State.
That's it. That's the only team they can afford to lose to because they're probably going to lose to them. If you beat them and you lose to someone else, like this week at Wisconsin, you've got to win over Ohio State. That might be okay, but it's 10-2 Penn State's not going anywhere.
I agree with that. Jerry Palm joining us on the Sissy's Log Cabin listener lines. You can check out JP's bowl projections, playoff projections, and then, of course, when we get to college basketball, his field projection for the NCAA tournament at CBSSports.com. Follow him on Twitter at JPPalmCBS. Boise State plays UNLV this weekend. UNLV's been playing out of their minds, even with the whole controversy with the quarterback. If they knock off Boise, does that knock Boise out of the whole mix for the group of five? What do you think will happen with the group of 5? Again, you're projecting an awful lot, which still, we still have a long way to go. But what do you think happens there?
I think it opens the door for probably the American champion. Boise might be viewed as better than a one-loss champion of another league because of the strength of their schedule. And they have to be a champion, right? Boise has to win the league, which means they might beat UNLV.
Right.
They might split 2 games, right? I think that Boise is still going to be tough to overcome. But if you get an undefeated or maybe one loss, like Army or Navy, lost only to Notre Dame, that kind of a team could be viewed, especially if they're competitive in a loss to Notre Dame, as a competitor to Boise State. But I think it's Boise State has got a strong case, even with a loss this weekend, assuming they avenge it in a championship game.
And, of course, if UNLV beat them twice and won the Mountain West, how many losses does UNLV have right now? Just one?
I think just one.
And they didn't lose
I
anything
think just
else?
one. So, yes,
They'd
and
probably
obviously
be
they're
in.
a strong candidate as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, no question. UNLV is 6-1
they're
at the moment.
How about Army or Navy? Do you give either one a chance to beat Notre Dame?
I lean more toward Army, but no, they don't have the talent to beat Notre Dame. But neither does Northern Illinois.
Yeah.
So, and they're not playing. They're playing both of those at neutral sites.
Yes.
That this week is Army. That's at East Rutherford.
This
I think, or is it Navy this
right?
week? Navy this
Navy's East Rutherford this week. Army
Army
is at
is-
Yankee Stadium in a few weeks.
Oh, Yankee Stadium. Okay. Yeah. So I think Army's better than Navy. So I would give Army more of a chance. But I think the thing that most intrigues me about those two is that they could meet for the American Conference Championship, regardless of the outcome against Notre Dame, because those aren't conference games.
Yeah,
right.
And so they could both be undefeated in the league, play for the conference championship, and then play, at least from a postseason standpoint, an irrelevant but obviously epic rivalry game the following week.
Isn't that crazy? It's crazy. Now, do you believe that it's scheme or talent, if you had to pick one? Of course, it's always a combination, but scheme or talent that beats the armed services teams? In other words, Notre Dame's got a lot of talent. Other teams may have a really good scheme. How do you beat those teams?
Discipline, especially defensive discipline. Offense, you can do it with talent. I think your offense against their defense is more talent. Your defense against their offense requires discipline.
I agree with that.
And you have to be, pretty tight on your assignments on the defense. And it's discipline more than talent or scheme. It's discipline.
By the way, I was just, if I did this quickly correctly, and these are all things that certainly could happen. If Texas lost to Texas A&M, Georgia lost to Ole Miss, Tennessee lost to Georgia, A&M lost to LSU, LSU lost to Alabama, and Missouri lost to Alabama and didn't lose any other games, there would be 7 10-2 teams in the SEC.
And that's not out of the question.
Would anybody have one loss, or would they all be 10-2?
They would all be 10-2 now, but in conference, in that Texas A&M would only have one loss because their loss, they got the A&M loss, and LSU would only have one loss in conference because they've got the USC loss.
So they would have a rematch in the championship.
They would have the conference championship game.
So it'd be an LSU A&M conference championship game.
Yes.
Well, how wacky would that be? Because you would have to put SEC. You would have to put SEC. Excuse me. You would have to put LSU and Texas A&M in to the playoff.
Yes.
And then
so you'd have to sort through the other 5 10-2 teams
probably
in the
get
SEC.
2 spots. Probably 2 spots. That would be. And you know what? It's doable with the exception. I don't think Texas A&M is going to beat Texas, but I guess it's possible. It's a rivalry game.
Yeah. I mean, we talked about this at the very beginning of the year. Texas A&M got the best schedule because they got 4 non-conference and 3, good games in conference, all of them at home.
Yeah.
So, that's a big advantage. Now, I don't know if home wasn't enough to beat Notre Dame, and it may not be enough to beat Texas, but, Mizzou, LSU, I think it's Mizzou is the other one, that, they've got a shot to win those games at home, and if they're sitting there 10-2 and they've played 4 good teams to beat 2 of them, that's not a bad case for getting in.
No, it's not.
But they may still get to play for the conference title.
Right.
Yeah.
But that all has
because
to
only
be,
one of those losses is a conference game.
Yeah, and it will be, but all of it obviously has to be taken into consideration when they're looking at trying to figure out between 5 teams, maybe 1 or 2 that go.
That 13th game, the 13th game is big.
It's big
because I don't care what your 10-2 is. 11-2 is probably going to be better than 10-2.
Well, but in that scenario that I laid out, if that happened,
or 10-3,
and then A&M lost to LSU, or either one of them loses and picks up their 3rd loss in the SEC championship game, where do they fall against all of the other 10-2 teams in the conference?
The committee is pretty forgiving of underdogs, especially in a conference championship loss.
They should be.
They are.
Yeah, because you made it to the championship game. You shouldn't be penalized.
For example, if A&M and Texas play each other again for the conference title, and Texas won the first game, and then they win it again, A&M is not hurt that badly by that loss. Not like it might happen in the regular season, even. Although Texas is a better team anyway, so even the regular season loss isn't going to hurt that much. But they're pretty forgiving of the underdog losing a conference championship game.
And I'm sure they are, but if that underdog that loses that championship game is now being compared as a 3-loss overall team versus 2-loss Georgia, 2-loss Alabama, 2-loss Texas, and 2-loss Tennessee,
well,
I have a feeling they might be hurt
against
more than
Georgia
they
and
thought.
Alabama anyway. But if you think 10-2, like Notre Dame, is going to get consideration over 10-3, Texas A&M because of that loss, that's not going to happen. 10-2 Tennessee probably falls short of A&M in that scenario. there are 10-2 teams that are, Ole Miss probably is the same. It's going to be difficult. A&M will not be hurt. I mean, their strength of schedule will be considered better, but the loss itself will not hurt as much as the regular season loss. And that's been the history of this committee.
He is Jerry Palm, CBS Sports, CBSSports.com. Follow him on Twitter at JPPalmCBS. You can listen to him every single Wednesday talking with us during both the college football and basketball seasons, and hoops just around the corner. Thank you, JP. Have a great week. We'll talk to you next Wednesday.
All right, thanks.
He's right about that, and you shouldn't be penalized if you made it to the championship game, but I guarantee you in a situation like that, they probably would be. 3-loss team, even though they made it to the championship game, and you're talking about a 2-loss Georgia, like you said, or there is some cachet that goes with a Georgia and an Alabama and teams like that. They're human beings. They're not computers that are deciding this thing.
Well, again, I mean, in that situation, if LSU, say, lost a championship game, LSU would also have a loss to a USC team that's not very good on their resume.
Right.
Like, that would be a worse
All
loss.
that has to be taken into
Now,
consideration.
Alabama, certainly, the Vanderbilt, like some of these would have bad losses anyway. But, I mean, if you had that where Georgia and Texas weren't in the championship game, now, granted, they probably would, you could easily put the 2 championship teams in and those 2 as well.
Right.
It would be the others probably that have a tougher time, but it would be interesting to see just how they would sort that out if that scenario we had 7.
I can't wait.
7 10-2 teams.
I want chaos
at the top of the SEC. Hey, runners, if you're looking for shoes, gear, whatever it is that you need, go see the folks at Fleet Feet. They'll take good care of you by getting shoes that are just right for you. They take a look at the way you run, the way you walk, and they'll fit you with those shoes that are just right for you, plus all your other gear they've got you taken care of over at Fleet Feet in East Memphis. It's in the Laurelwood Shopping Center. Out in Collierville, they're at Poplar and Houston Levy, right there next to the Hueys. Go see them at either one of the 2 locations of Fleet Feet.
You're tuned in to Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Summer may be over, but yard work, it goes on. Don't worry, Colonial Hardware makes it easy for you. Colonial Hardware has all the lawn and garden tools you need from the best brands in the business. Ferris, Snapper, Husqvarna, Toro, Echo, Shindaiwa, and Billigo. Servicing most brands of lawn equipment, Colonial's master service techs will keep you going year-round. Colonial Hardware, family-owned and operated, and serving you for nearly 50 years. It's the Bass Pro Lincoln at Sycamore View, and online at colonialhardwareinc.com. Stovall here with Corky's Barbecue. Catering is our specialty. Memphians have trusted Corky's to cater their events for 40 years because we make it easy for you and delicious for your guests. Whether it's 50 people or a crowd of thousands, our experienced team comes to your location, sets up, serves, and ensures everyone enjoys a Corky's all-you-can-eat barbecue buffet starting at only $7.99 per person. You can't beat it. With 40 years of experience, it's easy to see why customers choose Corky's time and time again for all of their catering needs. Visit Corky'sBBQ.com to book us for your next party.
Now back to Sports 56 Mornings on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by James Gaddis Jewelers.
Don't you just love it?
Here once again, Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
A couple of texts here on the Sissy's Log Cabin listener line at 360-8255. Somebody texted says you could actually have 8 10-2 SEC teams. And I guess I was just running through all those teams at the top. I guess there might be somebody else that would be able to get to 10-2. I'm not sure who that would be, but yeah, I was just trying to do that real quickly while Jerry was on to see if it's even possible just for all of those teams that were kind of ranked highly at one point this year to all get to 10-2. Who would be the other one? I guess could get to 10-2.
You know what's funny? I'm looking back at my predictions that we made for the SEC.
Oh, I guess they must be. I guess they're talking about Vanderbilt. Could Vanderbilt get to 10-2?
Did you have Mizzou in there at 6-2?
Yeah. No. They couldn't, because the only other team. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's 9 teams right now that have 2 or fewer losses. In my scenario, Vanderbilt would have to take another one. I guess, okay, what's maybe the other 8. Would that work out? Who am I missing out of that?
Georgia, Texas, Bama, Ole Miss, Tennessee, Mizzou, LSU,
Texas A&M.
A&M.
Texas A&M, Georgia, Tennessee, A&M, LSU, Alabama, Missouri. Oh, no, you know what? I didn't, that's right. I actually didn't list Ole Miss because I didn't have them lose. I was going through all the teams that needed to lose another game. No, that's right. That would be 8. In my scenario, it would be 8. I forgot to list Ole Miss because I only had them because they have to win all theirs. So, yeah, that would be 8. You're correct. That would be 8. It would be Texas, Georgia, Tennessee, Texas A&M, LSU, Missouri, Alabama, and Ole Miss that would all be 10-2 in my scenario if those 6 games went the way that I said and nobody else lost anything else, obviously. But, again, and then you would have 8 10-2 teams, and you would have LSU and A&M playing in the championship game because they would be the 2 that lost one conference game.
I had in our predictions we made before the season, I had 5 teams at 6-2, not 8. I had 5 at 6-2, but I had 2 at 7-1, and then 1 at 5-3. So, it's all those teams we thought were going to be good, and that's why I wonder about cannibalism. Would it hurt the SEC? And I would say it won't because of the power of the conference and of Sankey. That's why I can't wait until they select this field for the playoff. I cannot wait.
But if you look at those games, I think certainly all of them could happen. I think the least likely probably is Texas losing to A&M.
Right.
Next would be Georgia losing to Ole Miss. But certainly everything else, very much.
It's all a possibility. I think Ole Miss beating Georgia is a really strong possibility. I don't know, man.
Really strong possibility? It's a possibility. It ain't a really strong possibility.
I don't know. I just think that they haven't.
Georgia just destroyed Texas.
I understand that. But I also saw Ole Miss give one away to LSU. They should have won the game.
And I saw Ole Miss lose to Kentucky.
I did
couldn't
too.
Score against them.
I did too. Also, saw Georgia give up 35 in the first half, whatever it was, to Alabama. So, and Alabama's not too good. They lost to Vandy. The point is, I don't think there's a super team. There's a lot of really good teams. So it's not out of the question that Georgia can go to Oxford and lose, or that A&M can beat Texas, although I don't think. That would be the toughest one, in my opinion, in that scenario.
Another texter says, such a joke, Penn State can go 11-1 and play no one and get in.
I agree with that.
Yeah, I mean, but again, as Jared, like, that's just the way of this world now with the scheduling. They get the benefit of the schedule, but an 11-1 team out of the Big Ten is going to be in the playoff. Like, that's, you can be mad about it and say they haven't beaten anybody. That's true. But if you go 11-1 in either the SEC or the Big Ten, you're getting in the playoff. There's no doubt about that.
I already talked about this before, the comparison between the Big Ten and the SEC. There's enough good, solid Big Ten teams. Indiana's a big surprise this year. Illinois is really, really good. But there's a lot of teams that are either a disappointment or are struggling. I mean, Michigan, we knew they would drop. Michigan State is not there yet under Coach Smith, but they'll, I think, eventually get back. But there are some bad teams. The SEC, the teams we thought were really, really bad, are not that bad. Arkansas is not that bad. Florida's in a groove right now. They probably should have beaten Tennessee. The only one that's really bad is Mississippi State. Look at Vanderbilt. They're certainly not bad. So there's really no bottom feeders in the SEC. There are in the Big Ten.
You could end up with both Indiana and Penn State 11-1 with just a loss to Ohio State. And not much to speak of other than that as far as wins. Indiana would have a win over Michigan, whatever that is. But, like, that would be... You could have two 11-1 SEC teams or Big Ten teams who played one of the really good teams, Ohio State, and lost to them. But they're both getting in.
Exactly. Take your basketball skills to the next level at Shoot 360 Memphis. Shoot 360 is a revolutionary basketball training facility that combines cutting-edge technology with gamification, provides instant objective feedback with hands-on one-on-one expert coaching. With the holidays approaching, a great gift for any basketball player in your family would be a membership to Shoot 360 Memphis. And again, they are now taking monthly memberships, so you're not bogged down with that long-term contract. But I guarantee you, after trying it out for a month, you're going to fall in love with Shoot 360 Memphis. Become a better shooter. Become a better all-around basketball player. There is nothing like it. Take a tour. Give them a call in Cordova at 901-779-3176 or in Collierville, 901-779. Make that 901-316-5500 in Collierville, 901-316-5500. The future of basketball training is here at Shoot 360 Memphis. Hour 3 on the way. We open up Talking Grizzlies with DeMichael Cole. This is Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Moving is stressful, but Black Tie Moving can take the worry out of the process. Whether you're moving across town or across country, moving your home or your office, your personal moving concierge from Black Tie Moving will work with you to design a plan that perfectly fits your budget and needs. And they're available 24/7 to answer any questions you have. Give Black Tie Moving a call at 901-316-6196 or go to blacktiemoving.com/Memphis to get your personal, no-obligation quote from the moving experts at Black Tie Moving.
It's here, Genesis Diamonds, the largest ever sale in luxury pre-owned. You can't miss this special 2-day event this Friday and Saturday. During this event, you can take advantage of special pricing, see the largest financing on a stunning selection of luxury pre-owned diamonds. Hundreds of Musk, Submariners, Daytonas, Pepsi, hottest model Rolex watches that you can't find anywhere else. Our luxury pre-owned Rolexes are in pristine, light new condition, some just out of the box. All price to sell is purchase of luxury pre-owned Rolex visit Genesis Extended.
Nestled in the heart of East Memphis, located corner of Park and Cherry, is a beautiful residential neighborhood. I'm here at Town Village Audubon Park interviewing a new resident, Carolyn. Share with us why you chose Town Village.
Well, if your parents or special friends need to make that big move, let me share with you my experience. It was tough for me to leave home, but then I discovered Town Village. I would like to highly recommend Town Village to you and your loved ones. After looking at all the amenities and meeting all the people and staff, I was housekeeping, transportation, security, health care, physical therapy, exercise room, and even a heated pool and spa. Come see us and make your new home at Town Village.
Visit us and call Daniel at Town Village Audubon Park at 901-374-7342. There's no place like home, Town Village.
Hungry for that delicious smash burger flavor? Dyer's Cafe is the original smash burger since 1912 and still smashing burgers in Collier's historic town square. Come out for their lunch specials Monday through Friday, 11 to 2. Ask about their world-famous split dog and authentic Chicago or New York dog. Try the leaner side of Dyer's with a grilled chicken sandwich or freshly made salad. Also serving Lakes Delta-raised catfish, Pasquale's tamales, and a customer favorite hand-breaded onion rings. Dyer's, serving world-famous burgers, dogs, and shakes in Collier's historic town square.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good morning. Just heavy traffic volume right now. 40 westbound from Germantown Parkway all the way to Sycamore View Road. Still has a lot of volume coming in from Fayette County into Shelby County westbound on I-40. Arriving in the Midtown area, that's a little bit crowded there. Northbound 240 at Lamar. Still looking pretty good right now through South Haven on 55 northbound coming up from DeSoto County. Hey, Weimer's Jewelry, 7525 Highway 64 is your full-service family-owned jewelry store right here in Memphis. Go by and see them today. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
WHBQ Memphis and W253DF Memphis with Brett Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus. Weekday afternoons from 3 to 6.
Welcome back, everyone. 9:06 the time, hour 3 here on Sports 56 Mornings, the Wednesday, October 23rd, 2024 edition. Opening night for the Grizzlies in Salt Lake City against the Utah Jazz. We'll talk with DeMichael Cole in just a moment. We're broadcasting live from the Family Leisure Studios. Family Leisure, 2120 Whitten Road. That is just north of I-40. Currently, it is up to now 63 degrees. It will get up to about 87 today. Sunny skies will feel more like summer. And then tonight, clear skies with an overnight low of 59 degrees. The third hour of the program is brought to you each and every day by the great folks at Jenkins Floors and More, located at 2356 Goodman Road in Horn Lake, a hop, skip, and a jump from anywhere in the metropolitan Memphis area. They specialize in flooring and carpeting. They have all of the top-line material. They have hardwoods by Portercraft, carpeting from Southern Luxury Carpet, backsplashes, plantation shutters and blinds, everything you need for your home. If you want to do it yourself, why not come to Jenkins Floors and More, get all the material, and save money in the process because they sell it wholesale. But if you want Jenkins to do it for you, they're talking about a 2-week turnaround. They'll get the job done in 2 weeks. They'll come to you, and they will give you a free estimate. They'll show you the samples. They'll show you what it will look like. Again, they'll come to you. So why not call them? 662-469-9350, or go see them in Horn Lake at 2356 Goodman Road. They also have stores in Cleveland, Mississippi, and in Little Rock. Great family, great service, open Monday through Saturday. It's Jenkins Floors and More. Time now to talk some Grizzlies with DeMichael Cole.
It's time to talk some Grizzlies basketball. Joining Greg and Eli is DeMichael Cole, Grizzlies beat writer for the Commercial Appeal. Here's DeMichael with Greg and Eli.
He is DeMichael Cole, who joins us each and every Wednesday all year long to talk Grizzlies and the NBA. You can follow him on Twitter at DeMichaelC. Did you do some push-ups this morning, run some sprints, get fired up for the opener tonight?
Oh, I mean, in about an hour. You know, I'm not an early bird like you. I'm slow to the morning, so you know it's 8 a.m. here. I mean, we're just starting to get some daylight. You know, so
that's true.
So I'm about to though. I'm getting pumped up. You know, it's about that time.
We always appreciate you. Do you have that nice view of the mountains from your window?
Yeah, actually. Not right out my window, but yeah, it's right behind me.
Beautiful city.
It's 43 degrees right now here, so I want to go out there and check it out a little bit, but not while it's 43 degrees.
Yeah, wait till it warms up. Wait till it warms up a few degrees. Let the day get going. Let the sun start warming things up before you go mess
For
around
sure.
with that stuff.
43 degrees. Here's a guy who he doesn't go to all the games, but he goes to a lot of games. So he's probably been to Minnesota and Chicago and Detroit in the middle of the winter. That's when it's cold. 43 degrees isn't too bad. All right. So what's that?
Minnesota, you get to stay inside. You get the
tunnels.
You got the
okay.
Yeah, exactly.
That's
the key.
that's true. That you're smart.
Love Minnesota.
I know you wrote about Ja. We're going to get to that in a second. For those out there who don't know the injury status, can you just very quickly go over the walking wounded and when the guesstimate is for their return?
Yeah. So start with Jaren Jackson Jr. I think he's the one. You're talking next 2 to 3 games. In theory, the way the schedule broke for the Grizzlies just wasn't ideal. 6 games, first 9 days. So he's probably going to miss a couple games, over that stretch. Is this next, Friday and Saturday are back-to-back, it wouldn't be ideal to bring him back for both of those games. So he'll probably miss one of those. But he's fine. Everything is pretty much conditioning at this point for him. Luke Kennard and Cam Spencer. Well, I'll say Luke Kennard first. Luke Kennard, expect more of an update probably sometime soon, next couple days or so, where you'll have more of a firm timeline. But I would expect him to be out at least a week, and then after that, we'll kind of reconfigure and see, where he is. Cam Spencer and, Cam Spencer is still a couple weeks away, and Vince Williams as well. Vince Williams and Cam Spencer still a couple weeks away. No boot for Cam Spencer with the ankle, but he's starting to do some shooting things. Same thing with Vince Williams. He's doing some drills, jogging, things like that, slowly getting to the ramp-up part, of the process. But both of those guys still, you're thinking early November at some point. And then, of course, Gigi Jackson, same timeline, roughly early December for him.
So for tonight and the start here with no Gigi, no Vince, and no Luke Kennard, is it Jalen Wells? Who do you think kind of gets is that first wing guy off the bench?
Man, today it's probably gonna be John Conchar. It's probably gonna be John Conchar. He's the most trustworthy. Defensively, you trust him the most. I think Jake Laravia has probably the tools that they like the most, and then Jalen Wells, is probably the easiest one to plug in. He's a shooter and things like that. So 3 guys with, between the 3 of them, one of them should have a good game. Is the way that I look at it. And whoever that one is that gets off to a decent start in the first half is the one that gets the bulk of the minutes in the second half.
DeMichael Cole joining us from Salt Lake City on the Sissy's Log Cabin guest lines. All right, you can't use injury or health as an answer. What is your biggest concern going into the season?
Biggest concern? Shooting. This is easy for me. I mean, you guys and I have been talking about it for a while. And at the end of the day, we talk about how fancy the new offense is and stuff like that. And I always say, you can draw up the prettiest, the coolest, the flashiest play in the world. But if the result is a wide-open three-pointer for a 33% three-point shooter, how good is that play? Actually. And that's kind of what you have right now. At the end of the game, your closing lineup, forget in between, But at the end of the game, your closing lineup is more than likely going to be some shape or form. It's going to feature John Morant, Marcus Smart, Jaren Jackson Jr., and maybe Brandon Clark or Zach Edey. Desmond Bane would be your only above-league average, not even elite, but above-league average three-point shooter in that group based on career numbers. Ja, Marcus, 33% guys. Jaren had the 1 year where he was at 39%, and he's yet to duplicate that. So it's tough because you look at the Celtics last night, right? I mean, of course, they're not going to – that was NBA record type shooting. But that is kind of how the Celtics separated themselves all season long. They can make 23s in their sleep. It takes a lot of work for this Grizzlies team to make 23s, and it's gonna take some shooting jumps. You're going to need Santi Aldama he's got to take that jump. Santi cannot be shooting 33% from three-point range. His mechanics are good. He's confident. He should be 37% guy. John Contract has to shoot the ball more, enough of the pump fakes and things like that. John Morant and Marcus Smart have to be more efficient. It just has to happen. You need Marcus Smart. Leave the off the dribble 3-pointers, to the side. He said he's going to take more. You mentioned the story that I wrote. That was something he said. He's going to take more 3-pointers this year, more pull-up 3-pointers, spot opportunities. The 3-point shooting, without a doubt, if they can get to top 15 in the league, that's it. Top 15 in the league, which is something they've never done under Taylor Jenkins. I think that'll put them in a decent spot.
And see, and it's certainly it wouldn't affect Roy because you're right. I mean, the end of the game lineup, we know what that's going to be, but just the idea of the lack of shooting would be nice. And I guess they would probably almost be rooting, but like that's why I thought maybe Jalen Wells gets that first shot because he's the best shooter of that group.
Yeah.
That would work out best for the team if he could step in and start knocking down shots immediately. But with a rookie in his first games, can you really expect that?
But you're going to need him. And quite frankly, if you've been, when you watch him in the preseason, Jalen Wells doesn't have confidence problems. Like, he's not hesitating. I joked with him, that stretch early in the third quarter of the last preseason game. Remember, it was who went out of the game? Marcus Smart, I think it was. Marcus Smart went out of the game. So John Morant, Desmond Bain, Santi Aldama, Zach Edey on the floor. And this dude gets the ball at the top of the key. And, usually a rookie, he's just going to throw it back out if he doesn't have an open shot. Like, no, Jalen Wells is getting into his bag. He's going off the dribble, driving the basketball. I'm like, man, you had John and Dez on the floor. Like, it's small things like that where most rookies are super tentative to the point where, just throw it back to John Dez if I don't have a shot. Like, I'm trying to keep it real simple. So he has a different level of confidence about him. And it's not even that. It's small moments like that you really see it. So he's a guy who could come into this game and, be impactful, right? Come in. He's going to get those 3-pointers up. He has a quick release. He's not hesitant. He's big on spacing the floor. He's probably the one of those three players that we talked about who can, be the most impactful of them.
So as far as tonight's game is concerned, we got a little taste of Edey versus Kessler in the summer. So that'll be interesting.
Yeah, it will. It will be. And, but the Jazz are kind of dynamic in the way that they use those front court guys. They'll throw John Collins at the 5 because they're big on getting up and down. They got the Taylor Hendricks kid that they really like. Marketing is going to spend most of his time playing the 3. He'll move down to the 4 in stretches. So they're an interesting bunch, how they use those guys. And quite frankly, I think this is going to be a really good test for Zach Edey, right out of the gate. Yeah, you mentioned the Kessler matchup, but I don't think he's going to play like 30 minutes or anything like that. So there are going to be moments where Zach Edey's matched up against Walker Kessler, and then there's going to be moments where he's matched up against either John Collins, Taylor Hendricks, or possibly even Lauri Markkanen. And in that case, all 3 of those guys really stretch the floor. Mm-hmm. So it's
smaller and quicker. Smaller and quicker than Kessler. Yeah.
And if you've watched the Grizzlies play the Jazz early in this is not a matchup to sleep on by any means. Like 2 years ago, you remember that game? That was the game the Jazz beat the Grizzlies. I think it was 133 to 109. No, that was last season. They scored 133. And then 2 years ago, that was the back-to-back. That was when they went to Utah, played 2 games, 124, 123, 121, 105. Basically, early season Salt Lake City has not been good for the Grizzlies last couple years. Each of those games, Utah shot the ball, extremely well from 3-point range. So that's got to be a big key for the Grizzlies.
I had to look this up because I used to bring this up quite a bit last year, and this goes to your point about the whole offense. The Grizzlies last year, people talk about the offense. The last year, they got the 4th most wide open threes in the league, but they shoot the 3rd worst percentage on them. So who cares if you're getting wide open threes, but you can't make them? Well, what the hell's the purpose of getting the wide open 3?
Yeah, and that's my point when it comes to the, everyone's like, the new offense. Like, yeah, they'll lead the league in paint scoring properly. You can take that to the bank most likely. They'll be top 3 at worst in paint scoring. They're going to get to the paint. They're going to score inside. But That's going to be the difference. Can Marcus Smart, John Morant, those guys knock down the open threes? Because you need them to. Because it's not plausible in today's NBA to have 3 below league average shooters in your lineup. Because then teams could just say, hey, just take away Desmond Bain to the best of our abilities. Like, don't let Des make 8 threes. Of course he's going to make 3 or 4. You know, they get out in transition, the way the Grizzlies run. He's going to get some looks. But the game plan is going to be simple. You know, I remember what the Lakers were saying. We got to take away Des. You keep Dennis Schroeder in that series. They kept Dennis Schroeder attached to Luke Kennard. Luke Kennard couldn't even get looks. So it was as simple as that for those guys. It's going to be the key. If they can be a decent shooting team. I mean, we saw it. Like, when you play a team like the Celtics, you're going to have to make some type of three-pointers. The Knicks weren't even, I think in the first half, at one point, they were shooting like 58% and were down 20. So, yeah.
Well, if they ended up shooting 55% for the game, the Knicks did, and we're never in it.
Yeah, and there's a reason why the Grizzlies are getting those open 3-point shots, right? Let's give the credit to the defensive scheme going in, knowing that they're not going to beat you from 3. That's why you're absolutely right on. If you can have Ja and you can have Jaren and Smart hitting a higher percentage of threes, then it opens up things a little bit more for the offense. Okay, so the Jazz, the Rockets, even though I think the Rockets are going to be really good, the Magic, the Bulls, the Nets, the Bucks, the Sixers, without maybe Embiid, and who knows about Paul George, the Nets again. The point I'm making, you got the Wizards coming up. The schedule's easy, at least on paper, to start the year. I know 10 games won't make the season, but I think you have to attack early and get some dubs early because it's only going to get tougher, the schedule.
I mean,
you don't agree?
It's easy by names, maybe, but
well, everybody's tough. It's the NBA, but I mean, come on, look what I rattled off here.
No, I hear you. My thing is just the way it's constructed. You got 6 games in 9 days to start.
Yeah,
and Jaren is going to miss. Like, you got the back-to-back Friday and Saturday, and then next week you got the Halloween one, Wednesday and Thursday. Right. You got a back-to-back against the Nets and the Bucks. So, I mean, the Nets.
Assuming other teams have it too, though, right?
Yeah. There are some other teams with some back-to-backs as well. You know, everyone has them early in the season, but yeah, like, I think with the way they have 6 games in 9 days. I don't think every team is dealing with that. So, yeah, a lot of winnable games, a lot of games you should win, but especially, you know, you look at that stretch, like you said, Magic, Bulls, Nets, Bucks, you get 4 games at home. I'm looking at that stretch as a stretch. Hey, you get Jaren Jackson Jr. back for Orlando potentially, and then you play the Bulls, and then the Nets game, you say, hey, let's rest Jaren for this one. You know, you should beat the Nets without Jaren Jackson Jr. And then the Bucks game, you get Jaren back second night of back-to-back, and you know, you possibly go 4-0 throughout that stretch. So I'm with you. They still should be able to get through this. What, that first 6 games?
4-2?
4-2.
Yeah.
4-2 at worst.
That's what I said yesterday.
Are you excited about the Quad City DJs on Saturday?
No, I'm gonna be tuned in, but nah, that's it for me.
I had no idea that was the name of the group. I know the song. Everybody knows the song. I had no idea that was the name of the group. That's good stuff. All right, well, listen, have fun in Salt Lake. You know, put on a jacket. It's 43 degrees. It's not 12 below. Walk around that beautiful city. Enjoy the game, and we will. I'll see you on Saturday night, but we'll talk to you next week.
Spoken like a true Jersey man himself. I'll talk to you guys later. Take care.
Thanks to Michael.
The disrespect that has been shown today to the Quad City DJs by y'all is just unacceptable.
Did you know the name of that group? Seriously?
If you would have asked me who's sang that song, no, I would not have been.
Okay, that's all I'm saying. I know the song. It's a good song.
When they sent out the release that said Quad City DJs, I knew that the Quad City DJs, there was some big time song that they sang, but I was like, which one is it? And I looked at it, I was like, okay, that's what it was. I knew there was a massive song that they had. I remembered them being a big thing at one point.
Well, you're ahead of me because you know what I thought it was when I saw Quad City DJs? I thought in the Quad Cities, they got this like unbelievable group of DJs and they're going to come in, they're going to DJ all the music. But that's what I thought it was.
Again, that was my college. That was right in the heart of my college. Like, I was actually going to like clubs and stuff. Like, that song literally would play, felt like 100 times every night. Like, it was just the go-to. Like, every 30 minutes, like, you know what? Let's put the train back on. People will go crazy. And sure enough, people go crazy about that thing. It's like, that's the way it is. East Coast Wings and Grill for the Grizzlies game tonight. They'll have it on. There'll be a lot of folks up there, I'm sure, watching the game. Every Grizzlies game, all the NBA action, all the Major League Baseball World Series action, NFL, college football. It's always on at East Coast Wings and Grill. I was there for lunch yesterday to have some wings. 60 different flavors of wings to choose from on their menu, plus great burgers and other sandwiches, their flatbreads, all kinds of great things on the menu at East Coast Wings and Grill, plus 24 draft beers, any other beer, any other drink. They've got you taken care of at East Coast. Located in Bartlett, just off Highway 64, right between the Lowe's and the Walmart out there. That's where you'll find them, East Coast Wings and Grill.
When we return, we're talking Tigers hoops. Parthu Pajai will join us. We'll get the whole lowdown on everything that went down with the Tyreek Smith situation, who's now back and practicing with the Tigers. This is Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Join the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin, for Wolo and Friends. Weekday mornings from 10 to 11, here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Hi, friends. Bill Russell at Russell Brothers Fine Jewelers. And for 39 years, we've been the personal jewelers for thousands of Memphians and Mid-Southerners. For a very long time, we've been offering the finest and beautiful jewelry to help our customers celebrate those very special occasions and let their loved ones know just how treasured they are. Diamonds and the finest gemstones are our specialty. Set in whatever she wants, a ring or a pendant, a pair of earrings or a bracelet. We search the world's jewelry markets looking for pieces that are not only exquisite and beautiful, but also unique and eye-catching. We can help you make her smile in a way that neither one of you will ever forget. Come see us at Russell Brothers. Let us put our many years of experience to work for you. Let us help you say I love you in the best way you can imagine. 5 decades providing beauty, value, quality, and service. Russell Brothers Fine Jewelers, 4646 Power at Perkins.
You know, sometimes I wish I had a gun.
Well, I'm armed, but before I bought one, I still went to Top Gun Academy to learn to protect myself without a gun.
How is that possible?
Top Gun's personal protection training. It's perfect if you want to protect yourself without firearms.
I don't know.
And it's perfect if you feel the need to carry a gun for self-defense, because the last thing you really want to do is shoot.
That is scary.
Not at Top Gun. It's very comfortable, and you learn to load, handle, and shoot a handgun safely. Protect yourself. Go to Top Gun Academy. They're at 2770 Witten Road.
Dr. Ryan Green, sharing a weight loss discovery.
You've heard of those weight loss injections that produce shocking results, right? If your goal is to lose weight, a group of doctors created a remarkable weight loss supplement called Lean, and it's very encouraging. The studied ingredients in Lean have been shown to help maintain healthy glucose levels, help burn fat by converting fat into energy, and reduce appetite so you eat less. Lean could be the weight loss answer you've been searching for.
Visit TakeLean.com, promo code radio. That's TakeLean.com, promo code radio.
If you need glass replaced, there's only one name you need to know. Binswanger Glass, the largest full-service glass company in the U.S. They've been an industry leader for over 145 years. For all your residential, commercial, or auto glass needs, Binswanger Glass is the name you need to know. 24-hour emergency service for all commercial customers, plus a nationwide warranty on all professionally installed glass. Visit Binswanger Glass in Midtown at 340 South Hollywood, across from the Liberty Bowl. Visit BinswangerGlass.com. Binswanger Glass.
Now back to Sports 56 Mornings on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour brought to you by Jenkins Jewelers and More. Here once again are Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
Welcome back, everybody. 9:27 the time on this Hump Day edition of Sports 56 Mornings. Tomorrow, Coach Ryan Silverfield will join us as weekly visit, 8:05. We'll have the Tiger Football Report as we preview the Tigers and Charlotte. Kerry Miller on the World Series at 8:45. And then our final hour tomorrow, the AutoZone Liberty Bowl Inside College Football Hour with Harold Grader. Right now, it is time to talk Tigers basketball. We do it each and every week with Parthu Pajai, the Daily Memphians Tigers basketball beat writer. You can follow him on Twitter. I'll spell it out for you, at PUPADHYAYA _ Parthu Pajai, joining us now on Sports 56 Mornings. Parth, how are you?
I'm doing well. How are y'all doing?
Doing fantastic. Another uneventful last week for Tigers basketball. Not much happening.
Not much at all.
My, oh my. Yeah, it's pretty incredible. All right, so for those, most people in our listening audience know what's been going on, but they may not know all the details. Give us the real version of what happened and what's now going on as far as Tyreek Smith is concerned.
Yeah, from the conversations I've had and from the way it's been explained to me, it just seemed like there was a misunderstanding, if you will, between what Tyreek and his camp had expected to receive when it comes to NIL compensation. And they had been trying to work it out, I guess, in the background for a while, but some playing time / role, I guess, displeasures led to this boiling up maybe to the surface sooner than folks would have liked and more publicly than folks would have liked. And that's kind of what we saw play out following that UNC exhibition game, right, last week into the weekend. Obviously, in the weekend, you got several reports coming out Sunday that Tyreek Smith is leaving the team, that he's told Penny Hardaway he's going to seek other opportunities. The program came out hours after those reports and plainly said that was untrue, that Tyreek had never asked Penny to leave on a permanent basis. He had asked Penny Hardaway to step away for a day for personal reasons, is what the program spokesperson told reporters here. And then you've got the social media rant, right, that we all saw play out Monday with Boog Knight, who is Tyreek Smith's longtime mentor. He's also the president of operations at Lil Wayne's Young Money APA Sports, so he's Tyreek's representative, his mentor, his longtime best friend, whatever you want to call it, speaking up on behalf of Tyreek on Monday and trying to set the record straight in a series of tweets and a series of videos posted to Twitter that basically said, hey, we are not running from competition. We are not running due to playing time or role or not starting or anything like that. This is strictly about the way he phrased it, the way Boog Knight phrased it was, and I quote, promises not being fulfilled, right? And he alluded multiple times to this being an NIL situation and it being strictly that. And I was told late Monday that Tyreek Smith and Penny Hardaway had met in an attempt to resolve the situation. And sure enough, I think it was maybe 14 hours later, Tuesday morning, John Rothstein is the first to report that Tyreek Smith is back at practice. I'm able to confirm that report. And it seems like it's one of those situations where all's well that ends well.
Now, Boog, if I'm pretty sure within somewhere in there, said that, because people would say, well, you should have a contract. He said they had a contract. Is that correct?
Correct. He has tweeted out multiple times alluding to the fact that they have a contract. I think he said that we've got black and white in hand.
Yeah, that's
the way he phrased it.
How could there have been a misunderstanding? Like, I don't see how there is a misunderstanding if it is in a contract. It should be saying exactly what he's getting and what. I don't understand how there could be a misunderstanding of what that contract says.
I don't understand either. And obviously, Boog, I think in one tweet, either alluded to or plain out straight up claimed that Tyreek had not received money for I think he said 4 months. That I was able to find out it was not accurate. Gary Parrish obviously was the first to report yesterday that Tyreek Smith had already received approximately $175,000. That's what he's cashed in NIL checks so far. I was able to confirm that number is accurate, and that not only has he received that already without playing a single regular season game, but that every dollar that's coming, that's supposed to be that was promised contractually, is still on schedule, right? So it's not like they're behind on payments, not like they haven't paid up. Bluff City Collective, everything's been paid as was written in the contract, or as is written in the contract. So I'm not sure where that comes from, and I think that kind of explains more why people, representatives from both Bluff City Collective and Memphis Athletics, I was told were kind of blindsided by Boog Knight and Tyreek Smith's camp going public with this without even kind of bringing this to their attention privately.
So if they have a contract and it plainly says how much money he's owed and he's been paid up until this point, then is he trying to trying to get more money out of it? Is that what he's trying to do? Boog trying to like milk him for more money? I mean, because at first, not knowing all the details, we were talking about it yesterday, and we talked about collectives and not being on the same page with the coach and knowing how much money's there, how much is available, and we talked about having a contract. It's so important. We kept referencing the UNLV quarterback situation where he was promised something by one coach, but that wasn't the case, and he didn't have it in black and white. Well, this guy says he has it in black and white. You're saying that through reports, whether it was Gary or whoever, that he's been paid up until this point. Then I don't get it. I don't understand what's going on other than him trying to milk him for more money. And then how did they compensate that? How did they fix the problem? I certainly hope that coach didn't have to go into his pocket for more to appease the guy. But that would be bad because then you're talking about situations that, who knows what we'll see in the future with players or their inside person, their guardians, their handlers trying to milk a school for more money.
Yeah, I think, and this has been a pretty popular topic in college sports, obviously, over the past, year, 2 years. But until this stuff gets regulated by NCAA, we're going to see more and more of this, right?
Right.
And I'm pretty sure it happens everywhere. In fact, you hear murmurs and rumblings of it happening everywhere, whether it be my friends on other beats or my peers in this industry. But the, I guess, disappointing part for Memphis fans and people who follow this program is that this seems to be the only place where you get a firsthand look at how the sausage is made, right? We're standing right there by the glass window watching it, where in other programs, it's still being made. They're still serving sausage, but you're not letting the media and the fan base into the kitchen, so to speak.
Because you may not want to eat it after you see how the
No,
sausage is made.
you may not want to eat it. No, you're absolutely right. But to answer your first question, I was told that aside from what was stated in the contract, aside from what Boog Knight has in black and white in hand, as he put it, the way it was framed to me was there were additional promises made, verbal promises, by a member or members of Memphis basketball, the coaching staff, who are no longer on the staff. Right now, you've got something Tyreek Smith was told by an individual or individuals who are no longer part of the program, that Penny Hardaway may not have entirely been aware of, if that makes sense.
Yes,
at least not,
it does.
At least not all the ins and outs of those promises. So Penny is trying to, once again, as Boog Knight put it, quote unquote, clean up messes he did not make.
Yeah, put out the fire.
And that's
no
exactly
question.
what we're seeing here.
Okay, so two things, and this goes back to my rant yesterday on the program. If you had it where it was regulated, where the coach in consultation with the collectives, right? They made all the promises and they signed the contracts with the player, as opposed to having all these assistants or members of the staff promising themselves, because there's too many people. You know what I mean? There's too many people doing that. They can't have it. It has to be one or two people that control it, and those players and their handlers know that if it doesn't come from the chief, then it doesn't count. Also, if you don't have it on paper, signed, sealed, and delivered, then it doesn't matter either. And Boog should understand that too. He's got a contract. They're paying what they say in the contract, according to what you just said. Everything else, a promise doesn't matter, especially a promise from somebody who's not even part of the staff anymore. That doesn't matter. Sorry.
Yeah, and look, I'm sure, I'm very, very confident, actually, that neither Boog Knight or Tyreek Smith knew that this person or persons they didn't know these people were not going to be on the staff 1 month out from the season, right?
Right.
So they couldn't have expected that, but what they could have expected is, hey, if it's not in the contract, if it's not on the paper you signed, then it's irrelevant, right? Like,
exactly.
Especially Boog Knight, who is once again president of operations at Lil Wayne's Young Money APAA Sports. Like, this is an agent. This is a guy who's been in the business for a while. Is somebody who's known in the industry. Like, he should know this more than anybody else.
Yeah, wouldn't hold up in a court of law. I can tell you that much.
And he also,
verbal agreement.
I mean, I would assume like that, and that's probably why they, I guess, maybe did. But if he'd already cashed $175,000 worth of NIL checks, it's not like he could just leave the program. I can't imagine if you do that, you would have had to pay that money back, I would assume.
I don't know.
I don't know how that works. I think some of that is from
I can't believe I can't imagine he's fulfilled all of his obligations in that contract.
Well, I don't think. See, from my understanding, I don't think the checks come in until the obligations or deliverables are met, whether that be NIL activations via FedEx, meeting and greeting fans, signing autographs, whatever it may be. I think those checks come in upon the deliverables being met. So, maybe if he had left the team, he would have, been able to keep that $175,000.
Yeah, maybe. I guess if it's paid after the fact, I guess then certainly I guess he could have.
I know what people are bothered by the whole thing. I understand that. Look, NIL, it's here to stay. I have no problem with compensating athletes, no problem whatsoever. But it is interesting. I mean, as far as I know, Tyreek Smith wasn't an All-American last year, correct?
He was not. He averaged roughly 8.5 rebounds and 1.7 blocks.
Yeah, so that's the point we're at. We have athletes that aren't just the top-tier athletes that are demanding and getting incredible compensation for their services because that's the world we live in. These coaches have to win. These programs have to win. They have to go to tournaments. They have to go to bowl games. And they're going to overvalue and overpay a lot of athletes. I'm not saying they're overvaluing him. I mean, he hasn't played a game yet, a regular season game yet. But just the point being made around the country, I'm sure that's going on an awful lot where they have to do that.
Yeah, and I was going to say, just even if, we don't know the exact total amount agreed upon or signed upon, whatever, just think about it. He's received $175,000, and they have not started the season, right? That's what he's already cashed. And he's got 31 regular season games plus the postseason, wherever they end up in that, still left to play. So, we can just do rough math here and figure out that, his bag is pretty large.
Well, it's not only has he received $175,000 having not played a game yet, he's also a guy that he's walking down the street in Memphis, people don't even recognize him.
Right.
Yeah, maybe not.
Because NIL was designed for the big-time athlete to be able to make money because of the popularity. Like that. But this is what it's turned into. Like a guy who literally people wouldn't even recognize has already got $175,000 and hasn't played a game.
Well, how about this too, Parth? How about some of the guys on the team right now that are not being compensated as much as him, and they're reading these stories and they're going, what? He's already been paid $175,000? I'm not even getting that total. And that can cause friction. That's what you worry about when these amounts of money become public.
Yeah, no doubt. And I'm sure, even without this stuff becoming public, guys talk, teammates talk.
Some do, sure.
Agents are friends. This stuff is going to somehow make its way around the locker room, whether it be the way it has over the past 3 days or in other ways throughout a season. So, yeah, I think that's why you're seeing more and more of kind of chaos and turmoil, not just at Memphis, but across the college basketball landscape in various locker rooms.
Exactly, and it's led to a coach like Tony Bennett stepping down right before the season started. And he talked about
Tony Bennett, Jay Wright, a couple years back at Villanova, those guys still had plenty of juice left, right? Plenty more to give to the game of basketball, but they're stepping away prematurely. And saying, like you just said, on record, that, hey, we're backing away from this game because it's not the game that we signed up for, quite frankly.
Exactly. You wonder, and you get to talk to Penny every once in a while, how it's affecting him mentally and all these coaches, for goodness sakes.
No, you do. And I think, obviously, Penny has a little bit of an advantage because he entered the coaching ranks, the college coaching ranks in 2018, and obviously 3 years later, rather, NIL becomes kind of a mainstay in college athletics. So the game changed quick, but it changed early enough in Penny's tenure where it seems like he is able to adjust and is learning to adjust. And I think if there's one thing you want to look at if you're a Tigers fan or if, a supporter of the program or whatever, one thing you want to look at and be optimistic about, it's the fact that this did not drag on, right? This surfaced, the Tyreek Smith stuff, Sunday evening. By Tuesday morning, this fire is extinguished. We're still talking about it right now on Sports Talk Radio. There's still columns being written about it, but the situation is done.
I just wonder
as far as I understand.
Yeah, I just wonder how it was extinguished. Either Boog finally realized what was going on and understood the situation along with Tyreek, or there was extra money given to him, hopefully not from the coach's pocket. I wouldn't think that would happen, but you just never know.
Well, that would be illegal, so yes, I hope that didn't happen.
Yeah.
I'm going to guess they're not going to tell you that happened if it did, because that would be illegal.
You don't think anything illegal has ever happened in college sports?
They're not going to come out and say Penny gave him money. So
No, I say I'd like to know. I'm not saying I'm going to find out. I'd like to know. I mean, how do you put out a fire if somebody says we're owed more and you're saying you're not owed more? I mean, he's supposedly an agent or whatever, doesn't he? And he can read the fine print. I mean, any verbal agreement, especially from a coach who's gone, it doesn't carry any weight. So, I mean,
it doesn't.
It didn't make any sense. But, you know, you had, obviously, as you mentioned to start this thing, you had the reports coming out that the guy was already gone, that he has left the program, that he was seeking to find another school. By the way, as far as that is concerned, like adding to your roster, Penny had said in his last presser that I was at that they could still add another player. It's hard to believe we're almost in November that you can add a player that would be eligible to play, but I don't know anymore in college sports, like who's eligible, who's not. Is there a possibility that he will add a player, in your opinion?
Yeah, I think so, and I think that possibility would have increased significantly had Tyreek Smith walked, right? Because then you're down a big. Then you've got Nicholas Jourdain, Musa Cisse, and Dane Danger, right? That's your front court. If Tyreek Smith was not a part of the picture, now with Tyreek staying, you know, they've still got those 2 scholarship spots left. They've got 11 scholarship players on a 13 spot max roster, so they've got 2 openings, 2 vacancies. They could add a player. Do I think it's likely? Probably not. I think Penny's, you know, if you've been following this offseason, especially in the past month or so, I think Penny's learned a lot from tinkering, right? From the lessons that have come in the past. Even when you're adding a talent like Naquan Thomas last December, that still can cause ripples in your locker room. Sure. It can still change chemistry. That can still change pecking order. It can change on-court and off-court dynamics. I think Penny's learned from that, and it sounds like, from everything I understand, from stuff he's said publicly, from people I've spoken to, that Penny and his staff, they like what they have here in terms of chemistry and the togetherness of the team. Obviously, you know, people will point to this saga that lasted the past 72 hours and say, oh, you know, how is that togetherness? But, you know, you saw how quickly the situation was diffused. You saw how Tyreek Smith's teammates embraced him upon his return. So I think Penny likes where he's at, and I think he said that as well. So there is a chance that he could add. There is room to add. Do I think it's likely? Maybe not.
All right, so Monday they'll play in Huntsville against the University of Alabama. We'll be talking about it certainly that week, and especially when you join us next Wednesday, same time, 9:25. Parth, great job as always. Really appreciate it. Make sure to read all of Parth's great stories and coverage of the Tigers at the Daily Memphian. Thank you, Parth.
Appreciate you guys. Thank you.
Take care. All-Star Chevrolet in Olive Branch, folks. The Chevy truck season sale, the new one, going on right now. Financing as low as 0%. It's now available on all the new 24 Silverados. No payment till next year. Yes, your Silverado can be payment-free through Christmas and New Year's, and your good credit deserves it. Olive Branch is where all the new Silverados are, but also the Chevy Tahoes. And incentives at All-Star on all the new Equinox. That can get your price as low as the low 30s, even the 20s. If you're in law enforcement, first responder, healthcare, work in the military, you're a teacher, a recent graduate, you get a $500 bonus. So come check out all the great deals at All-Star Chevrolet, including the huge, and I mean huge, All-Star pre-owned section. So if you're looking for a pre-owned automobile, they have everything from Silverados to Jeeps, the Nissans, the Toyotas, the Fords, all the SUVs you want. They're right there at All-Star Chevy in Olive Branch. If you got any vehicle you want to sell, you bring it to All-Star Chevrolet today. You'll get the most money back for it. Again, it's got to be Olive Branch. Together, let's drive. Don't miss the final Chevy truck season sale going on now in OB, in Olive Branch at All-Star Chevrolet. Check out all the great vehicles online at allstarautogroup.com. We're coming back with our final segment. This is Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 at 98.5 FM.
Broadcasting from the Family Leisure Studio, we are Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Wash your house, wash your office building? Impossible! Not if you call Wilson's Pro Wash. Your house, fence, driveway, warehouse, store, hotel, even cars and trucks can all be squeaky clean and beautiful after pressure washing by Wilson's Pro Wash. Wilson's specializes in cleaning all hard surfaces, concrete, stone, brick, and mortar, even wood and vinyl siding. Then Wilson's can silver surfaces so they stay looking brand new. Call Wilson's Pro Wash, 901-524-6799, or online at wilsonsprowash.com.
Hi, this is Troy Fiveash, owner of Fiveash Roofing. Did you know there are so many roofing companies in Memphis that I don't even know them all? So that begs the question, which one should you choose? So I thought I'd give you a little background about me. My grandfather was a World War II Marine. My father worked for the University of Memphis for nearly 30 years. My mother, a pianist at Raleigh Baptist Church. Seems like forever. I went to Brownsville Road, Craigmont, and Bartlett High School, class of 81. We support the local school systems, youth athletics, and believe in what St. Jude and Le Bonheur stand for. I'm a Tiger and Grizz fan. The point? Memphis is my home. Five Ash Roofing will be around if you ever have a problem with the service we provide. Five Ash Roofing, fair, honest, and ethical, with deep local ties in our community. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com.
Five Ash Roofing, it's what we do. We're here for you.
It's here, Genesis Diamond's largest ever sale on luxury pre-owned Rolex watches. If you've ever dreamed of wearing a Rolex, you can't miss this special two-day event this Friday and Saturday. During this event, you can take advantage of a special pricing and zero interest financing on a stunning selection of luxurious pre-owned Rolex timepieces. We've got Rolex Volts, Submariners, Daytonas, Pepsis, the hottest model Rolex watches that you can't find anywhere else. All of our luxury pre-owned Rolexes are in pristine, light new condition, some just out of the box, and all priced to sell at this event. Listen to this: for the purchase of any luxury pre-owned Rolex at this event, Genesis will give you a pair of 2-carat black gold diamond stud earrings for free. That's a $3,000 value. And listen up, Rolex owners, our pre-owned Rolex buyers are on site offering top dollar for your Rolex. Come see the largest selection of Rolex watches in the state and take advantage of special financing. Plus, get a pair of 2-carat black gold diamond stud earrings free. It's this Friday and Saturday only at Genesis Diamonds on Poplar and Perkins Extended.
All 24-month lease, $650 acquisition fee, 20 cents excess mileage, Forte RE 834, 938, MSRP 22615, Telluride RG 56 3000, MSRP 40805, Sportage S73 40278, MSRP 29135, includes all rebates and incentives, must finance through Hyundai, excludes tax title and license. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 10/31/2024 with approved credit, dealer stock only.
Hey, Jeff Allen, are you ready to give the Mid-South your best deal ever at Gossett Kia South on Mount Moriah?
I'm always ready, Randy. Gas prices got you down? How about 41 MPG highway in a 2024 Kia Forte LXS at $233.86 a month? $34.99 do it signing. 2025 Kia Sport is $269 per month. $34.99 do it signing. And get ready for the holidays and hit the road in a 2024 Kia Telluride S, $408.62 per month. $39.99 do it signing. All 24-month lease.
Plus, all those bad boys come with a 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty.
So whether you live in Horn Lake, South Haven, Olive Branch, or Memphis, you'll be happy at Gossett Kia on Mount Moriah.
Or online anytime at KiaMountMoriah.com.
Now back to Sports 56 mornings on Sports 56 and 95 FM. This hour brought to you by Jenkins Floors and More. And once again, our Greg Gaston and Eli Support.
Welcome back, everyone. Grizzlies are a 2.5-point favorite tonight in Utah against the Jazz. Total 228.5. What do you think about the Grizz being a favorite?
Doesn't surprise me.
Even though the recent history hasn't been great against the Jazz in Salt Lake City to open the season, as DeMichael Cole said. Again, the Jazz, the underdog tonight at home against the Grizzlies. If you missed it, the story this morning from the National Football League, still not finalized yet, but it does appear that DeAndre Hopkins will be traded by the Titans to the Kansas City Chiefs for a conditional 4th-round draft pick. Hopkins to help out that depleted wide receiver core for Kansas City. Despite all the injuries, the Chiefs remain the only unbeaten team in the National Football League.
No surprise, the Browns are going to start Jameis Winston this week.
Right.
Leaps over DTR in the pecking order, I guess, technically, from last week, but Jameis Winston will be the starting quarterback for the Browns as they go against the Ravens this week.
Also,
good luck to him.
Yeah. Speaking of quarterbacks, Andy Dalton, the Red Rifle, we talked about that situation in Carolina yesterday. He and his family involved in an automobile accident Tuesday afternoon in Charlotte. His wife and their three children, their dog, were traveling
in and about Charlotte, around 7 miles from Bank of America Stadium when the accident occurred. No one in the vehicle was transported by emergency medical personnel to the hospital, so looks like everybody will be okay. Dalton has gone 1-4 since replacing Bryce Young as the starter for the Carolina Panthers. So unless there is something that we haven't heard, I would imagine he's back in there. Now there's growing, not concern, but growing news and growing possibilities that Bryce Young could be dealt. That there are some teams out there, according to reports, that are very interested in his services for the future. So we'll see if something is done by Carolina as far as dealing the former number 1 overall pick.
Yeah, they're talking that Carolina might just start trading everybody, which would make sense. I don't know, Miles Sanders is a name, Deontay Johnson is a name that certainly there could be a market for. But yeah, if you're Carolina, you might as well
clean house, right?
Empty the roster. There's really not a reason to be holding on to these guys. I don't think you're going to be making a big playoff run this year, so I think you probably should go ahead and deal as many of those guys as you can, stockpile as many draft picks as you possibly can come up with for your future. Genesis Diamonds this weekend, Friday and Saturday, is the big Rolex event with their massive selection of pre-owned Rolex watches
Jelly
over
Roll,
at
the Beautifully Broken Tour, November 26th, Bridgestone.
Hold off on that. They've got the big event coming up this weekend, Friday and Saturday. The pre-owned Rolex watches, they always have the biggest selection in the state. And now they've brought in many, many more, and they've got special pricing, 0 interest financing, and as if that's not enough, how about when you purchase a luxury pre-owned Rolex watch at this event, a free pair of 2-carat lab-grown diamond stud earrings, which is a $3,000 value. That's this Friday and Saturday only. Genesis Diamonds, Poplar, and Perkins Extended.
So Mad Dog Russo said about the historic moment last night in Los Angeles with LeBron and Bronny. This might be fun for LeBron. Nobody in America cares that Bronny James played 3 minutes and grabbed 1 rebound at 11 o'clock at night in the opener. Of course, 11 o'clock, I guess, his time, Eastern time. And this is supposed to be a moment that America is going to resonate with? It's not a sports moment. To me, there's a fakeness to it. It's interesting because I've read some of the comments from some people like Shaq saying, he's got to work on being a part of the rotation and this and that, and he has a bright future. And a lot of people come to the support of LeBron. Not that he needs any support, but there's also the people like Russo that feel just it's ridiculous. It's an individual person who wanted his son to play with him, and he got it because he has the power, he has the clout. And so I don't know how to feel about it. I don't think he deserves a spot on an NBA roster, but I think it is a cool moment that he's able to play with his son. Anytime you're able to do something with your son or your daughter, in a profession like that, that's fantastic. But I could also understand where he's coming from as far as it wasn't a sports moment that people should be like, oh, yeah, I remember where I was when Bronny and Bron played 3 minutes together in Los Angeles.
It's a completely staged
made
thing.
for television event.
That's like the Griffies, they were both good enough to be playing.
Oh, yeah.
So it was a natural thing that happened. They'd end up on the same. This is a completely staged thing by the Lakers to put a guy on their roster that doesn't belong simply because his dad's there. It doesn't. There's no. I don't care a bit about it because it's just he doesn't deserve to be on the team.
Yeah, I'm with him.
If he was good enough, that'd be great. And if he was part of the team on merit, but he's not.
Yeah, we're in agreement on that. That'll do it for us today on this Wednesday edition of Sports 56 Mornings. Thanks to our guests, Jerry Palm, DeMichael Cole, and Parth Upadhyay. Tomorrow, Ryan Silverfield joins us at 8:05 to talk Tigers football as the Tigers get set for their battle Saturday morning against Charlotte. Also, the AutoZone Liberty Bowl Inside College Football Hour with Harold Grader. And Kerry Miller will join us to talk World Series. Wolo and Friends on Sports 56 is coming up next. For Eli Savoy and Elijah Seegers, I'm Greg Gaston. How about some music to wrap it up?
beautiful residential neighborhood. I'm here at Town Village Audubon Park interviewing a new resident, Carolyn. Share with us why you chose Town Village.
Well, if your parents or special friends need to make that big move, let me share with you my experience.